Hey guys, so before I start the video, I just wanted to let everyone know that this was recorded in January before they had actually announced that like playable elites weren't going to be in it. And just ahead of time, I'm not happy about that. We knew it was coming, still not happy about it. Anyway, so just a few things. So the reason this took so long to get out, it's about 3 hours long. And there was just a ton of audio work that had to be done because I screwed up on the audio. So the audio isn't particularly great, but you can still hear and understand everyone, hopefully. I'll have some more content coming out soon. I'm still working on the finale episodes, but I'm going to be working on getting some more hypermail. And there's also some stuff regarding Patreon that I need to bring up, but I'm procrastinating on for whatever reason. But yeah, we had a lot to say about Halo Infinite. I want to thank Dan Man for helping me out with the audio. He's Dan Man from Lazy Bunch. It was a really big help. He did all the audio here for me. I did all the video parts. So yeah, enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am here with several great content creators who have all had a hand in making Machinima. As all of you know, I'm Andrew. I am the owner of Immortal Dream Entertainment. And I want to give a chance to introduce my guests here. So, Chronicler, how about we start with you since you're sort of the veteran Machinima creator here?
The old fucker? Yeah, that's me. I'm the old fucker.
Grandpa Chronicler.
I'm Chronicler 177. I'm one of the last of the old guard from what I've heard. So I've been making Machinima since 2008. I've made probably my most well-known bit is the Spartan Legacy, which entails things like Reach the Last War, and recently Brotherhood War and its sequel Aftermath. Odd Men Out, that's also been a big one. I've been doing this for a long fucking time. Will continue to be doing it for a long fucking time as well. I'm okay at it.
Better than okay.
Yeah, you're amazing at it, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's me.
All right, so that's it. Anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
Yeah, I am absolutely going to be shitting on everything and everyone for this entire video. This is my time to be a negative Nancy, and oh boy, I got a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. So just
we all do.
be prepared for that.
I can't wait.
All right.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, Dan, you're up since you're next on my screen.
Yay! So, yeah, I've been making Machinimas for about, God, like 10 years now, since 2011. Made our first Machinima, kind of died out a little bit for a while, disappeared completely off of YouTube, then just came back a couple years ago. Made Perfect Soldier Evolution, Elimination, Lone Wolves, and now we're working on Reclaimer. So that's our next big series. But
and what's your channel name again, so the viewers know?
yeah, Lazy Bunch. Lazy Bunch.
The Lazy Bunch.
Yeah,
you're a bunch of lazy fuckers.
exactly.
Okay. Thanks for coming in, Dan. Epsi, how about you talk about yourself a bit?
Okay. Well, I got to start off and say hello there.
General Kenobi.
My name's Epsi, or Epsilon FrL. I'm new to the scene. I've only been doing Machinimas for about a year now, where I only have a robot chicken style Machinima called Halo Reach Around.
But he has helped me in my Machinima, so he does count.
I have helped in Beam stuff. Me and Mega collabed last year with Guardians,
yeah.
which did pretty good. And yeah, I've been trying to make stuff out, and I've just been procrastinating a lot. So I should be able to get something out probably this year, hopefully.
All right. How about you, Ultron? Mega, because you voice Ultron.
Of course. So I'm Megalodon 302, or Mega Productions 302, also known as the Shark Man, of course.
The Nolan North of Machinima.
Yeah. So I've voice acted on a lot of different Machinimas. I've also made a few of my own on occasion, but I've mostly been doing voice acting. But as of right now, I've been working mostly with Chronicler, helping co-write some of the Spartan Legacy chapters, and hopefully with some of the future installments, maybe. And then also been working with Lazy Bunch on some recent cool ideas that we hope to get out this year. And just I like to be the community helper, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Very helpful. Very helpful.
You are.
Yes.
You're
I
a good man.
like he's very modest. He's like, I've done like a couple voice acting things. Like,
Yeah, I'm not special.
I watched.
Well, I've done every machinima ever.
I watched the Destiny Machinima, and I'm like, and I seen Megalodon. I'm like, when were you in this?
Hey, he's a talented guy. All right, thank you, Mega. How about you, Grumpy? You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is GrumpyElite. This is a weird thing for me. Technically, I've been doing Machinima since about 2009, but I don't consider that since a bunch of them were bad. But I didn't really take it as well as I did before. I consider myself actually being in Machinimas when I went back with it full force back in 2015. I do a bunch of shorts, and I do sometimes some Machinima reviews, and very infrequently, but I like to take on long, short film, sort of movie-based projects as well.
Yeah, when are you ripping into Brotherhood War?
I'm going to do an interesting moment for that where I rip into not only Brotherhood War, but also its sequel and its prequel.
Oh boy, I'm gonna cry
dear.
so fucking hard. Looking forward to it.
All right, so first off, let me thank you guys for being a part of this video, and we're going to be talking. If you haven't seen the title yet, we're going to be talking about the potential of Machinima in the upcoming Halo Infinite, because there is a lot to cover.
oh yeah.
And a lot to speculate about that I hope isn't true, but probably will be, because this is 343 we're talking about.
This much to talk about when we know so little about the game is a bad thing, folks. It's bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
But before we talk about Halo Infinite, I want to sort of go over the past Halos. Now, Halo Machinima didn't really get into full force until Halo 3, but we can't deny that like Red versus Blue had a big hand to play in with Combat Evolved in Halo 2, as well as some other Machinimas. Like someone give me like a Machinima from like Halo 2.
Halo music video hell.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah, music video hell, and Marlon the Elite's another one.
So John CJG did like one Halo 2 Machinima, I think.
It was Abnormality. Abnormality. And then Halo 3 came around, and that's when we started getting theater mode, and I think a wider range of customization with, the armor and stuff. And we also got Elites, which definitely helped, sort of get that.
Don't forget about Forge.
Halo 2, so...
Yeah, the Elites were in Halo 2, but like...
3 gave us
We got so much more. We got so much more customization.
Yeah.
armor customization, Forge, and theater were basically the three things we needed for the Machinima community to explode, which it did.
Yep.
For a little bit.
Basically.
And Chronicler, what did you get started? Was it Halo 3?
It was Halo 3, all right.
All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about how you did Machinima way back when Halo 3 was like brand new?
Okay, so I started off, picture this. I am 12, I think, and I have this old big TV, before they were flat screens, right? And I'm on a stand, and then I didn't have a capture card. What I had was a digital camera sat on top of a whole bunch of books and CD cases pointed directly at the screen, and I didn't have any editing software, so everything was one long, gigantic clip, and I was doing all the voices while recording it. It sucked! It sucked so much!
I did the same
thing! But you know what? I did it!
Memories of this as well.
I started, and I got a lot better from there, and after that, I actually got... It wasn't a capture card, but I took that same camera and figured out how to plug in the red, the white, and the yellow wires into it from the Xbox, so I could route the footage into there. And it wasn't the best quality, but it's better than what I was doing before. And I was using iMovie for editing because it was free, and it sucked and it was simple. But, it got me by for 6 years.
So Chronicler, let me ask you this. What was when you were doing Halo Machinima? What was your kind of thoughts on like how Halo Machinima was done in Halo 3, like compared to like the late previously what we had involved? Do you think it was a pretty big step up from what we previously had?
Well, keep in
And
mind,
do you think there was was it the peak of what we could do with Machinima,
it was
or
not,
was
not
it?
the peak. It
Was not the peak?
The only thing that was Halo 3 was good, and it introduced a good many tools that we needed in order to do it, but it was not the peak. Those tools have largely been expanded upon since then, and the only thing that has degraded in quality has been theater mode, drastically.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
But it is still usable, as I have proven with Brotherhood War, and as have many other people who have made Machinima in Halo 5. So, was it good? Yes, it was absolutely good. Was it the peak? No. It was just a very good start.
All right. Thank you, Chronicler. What about you, Dan? You have any thoughts on Halo 3 for Machinima making?
Oh gosh, I have never I never actually posted any of my Halo 3 videos.
Well, just in general, like from your own experience with it.
It was like Chronicler said, you know, I literally did the exact same thing. Camera on, like a bunch of books, recorded that way. I even
Well,
did
yeah,
what
because
he
clearly
said.
that's how they did it, right?
Yeah, I even did it like what he said. You know, plugging the camera into the red, white, and yellow wires and printing it out on a little cassette tape, and then capture that into my. It was yeah. So I would definitely.
So it was kind of frustrating, wasn't it?
It was frustrating, but in terms of gameplay, I agree with him. Halo 3 was good. With theater and Forge and everything. I mean, honestly, I don't even know if Bungie really anticipated how much that would grow the Machinima community.
How much that would make Halo even more popular.
Yeah.
Now, what do y'all think about what do y'all think about the Halo Machinimas that actually came out? Like we know about R being the chief, and I think most people can agree it's pretty much better than Red versus Blue.
In some ways, on a personal level, on a technical level, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not high budget, but in entertainment value, it's S tier.
Well, it's all a matter of what you perceive, because I know some people don't really like the darker.
They don't like the irreverent nature of it.
The darker humor in Army of the Chief compared to the more lighter, but still pretty brutal, vulgar Red versus Blue and stuff. But I do remember not just even then and stuff. So I was actually very late to the Machinima community. I actually joined it more in the Halo Reach days, which we'll get into about later.
We'll get to in a bit.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But yeah, for Halo 3, I didn't even have Xbox Live at the time that it first came out. I got it much later, because at the time my parents were worried about me joining the online community at the time and stuff.
As they should.
I think you and I met during the Halo Reach days. Because I remember me and Megalodon, we've been Xbox Live friends for a while.
But yeah, however, at the time, I was familiar with Halo 3 and Machinima in general. Like Red vs. Blue was one of the very first few that I watched. But then there were other Machinimas that I really enjoyed around the time that they came out. Does anybody here remember a Machinima called Spriggs?
Yes!
I remember Spriggs. That's a good one.
Spriggs! Pre-game lobby! We had one episode of Bigfoot and it was amazing. Oh my god, so many good stories!
There was so much. Here's the thing with Halo 3, from what I remember, it wasn't really actually serious Machinimas. It was a lot of messing around, experimenting with what you could do in it.
And it was
there was just so much funny stuff that came out with Halo 3 Machinima. It wasn't until Reach where we got more serious.
It was the wild
Now, there was some serious
Machinima. It was so good.
Yeah.
Anything goes. It was so good.
All right, Epsi, what about you? You have any opinions on Halo 3 Machinimas?
I didn't comment this on my intro because I don't count it as Machinima. I think it's absolute dog shit. But in 2011, I started playing Xbox. I grew up as a PlayStation player, and I was absolutely obsessed with Halo. So, me as the stupid 11-year-old, I'm like, oh, I like Red vs. Blue. I like RB and the Chief. I'll make my own. And I got, just like Chronicler and Aaron did, I got my iPod Touch and would film the screen from theater mode. And then I eventually upgraded and I got my video game cases and got my iPad and did that and set it up and that's how you should record. So from what I learned and stuff back in the day, since I'm not even today, I'm not, very knowledgeable in filmmaking and stuff, but with what Halo 3 gave me and stuff, I feel like it was a good stepping stone to, from the pre-made stuff that CE and 2 had, where I could have more freedom with what I can do and stuff, and the world that I want to perceive in my content. And then
All right, how about you, Grumpy? You got any opinions on Halo 3 Machinimas?
I think that made a very good point that it was an era of experimentation. You had a lot of different people trying different genres, like seeing what to do with the tools like Forge and Theater. But you also had a bunch of different people just figuring out how to work with the equipment, how to work with the programs at the time, which weren't that good. So you had a lot of interesting stuff, like in Guitar Master's Master Chief 4, you had these different kind of cutout effects.
Guitar Master X7 was great. I love his Master Chief
You
stuff.
had the weird blood effects, which look weird, but they were pretty cool for the time. You never really saw that.
The bit with the shark? That was next level stuff back then.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so wait, was that it, Grumpy? You have
I was
anything
also
else to
just
say?
going to mention the Forgotten Spartans.
Oh yeah, Forgotten Spartans was pretty good too.
Forgotten Spartans, wasn't it them who, I don't know if they were the first to do it, but they like overlaid a whole bunch of different scenes so it made it look like there were whole armies of people out there?
Yeah, that's
Legendary shit for that
I'm
time,
looking
dude.
at them right now. There's like one shot of like 100 elites on Avalanche.
Dude, nobody else even thought that far back then, dude. That was incredible.
That was a huge leap for Machinima in general, I think.
I know I definitely looked that up on YouTube because I know Arbiter 617 did a tutorial like that for what he did.
Yeah, he did a tutorial for I think Rise of Spartans. Which now that we mentioned, let's talk about Halo Reach. Which now before we could talk about Halo Reach, I haven't had that much experience with Halo 3 in terms of Machinima. I started coming in around the Halo Reach era.
I would say,
and Halo Reach for me,
that's the early peak of this community is when
I'd say Halo Reach is the peak of when Machinima got good.
The absolute
Now
size of the community peaked with Reach.
Mm-hmm. My experience with Reach, the first time I ever got involved with Machinima was with Arbiter 617's Rise of the Spartan, and it was actually me and Megalodon who we did some body acting for Arbiter 617, except he had a better experience than I did because I got in a heated exchange with one of the assistant directors, which was Robo-Leader 9, I think.
Yeah, it was Robo.
I picked up a spiker by accident, and he flipped his shit. And then I didn't even pick it up the second game, and someone else did, and I ended up getting kicked from the body acting session. And if it wasn't for Hugh, they wouldn't even have credited me at all.
Dang.
So thanks again for that, Mega.
Wow, that goes back far.
Yeah, I still remember. I don't forget stuff like that. But
Do you feel old now?
I do, but especially actually one of the very first ones before even doing the Rise of the Spartans body acting was actually with Chronicler with Bikeron 2. Because I was the only guy who had the Officer Elite armor that needed for the one red dude. I forgot his name.
Me too. Me too.
So, Chronicler, why don't you talk about
Yeah.
Well, I'll get to you soon, Hugh. I just want to sort of keep it in order.
Yeah.
All right, so Chronicler, why don't you talk to us about your thoughts on the Halo Reach Machinima? Because in my opinion, I think that's when it really, really got good. The customization was great. You had Firefight. You had a great Forge mode. And there's just so much to love about it.
Mega has told me that apparently I was one of the pioneers of Reach Machinima, like big Reach Machinimas, because Border War came out like a couple of months after Reach did. It was really early. But I found a lot of things that a lot of other creators encountered. The massively improved Forge was really nice to have. I think it was only now, after we've had stuff like Halo 5, do we realize, oh my god, the palette in Reach's Forge is so fucking bland. It's all gray and dull green and white rock. But for the time, it was fucking mind-blowing.
It was.
But it was also where theater started to go downhill. Because I encountered a bug with it that I had to work around, where you could start hearing the announcer in free cam. Like if your camera was attached to the player who gets the first strike, and you detach the camera from the player and they go and get the kill, you will hear the announcer go, "First strike," even when you're not attached. Halo 3 didn't.
I should also mention there was also that part where if you were attached to a player in active camo while you were in free cam and they turned on active camo, the sound would go off.
So that was a problem, but we dealt with it. But yeah, we could pull off a lot more shit than we could previously, and that's when things started getting serious. We saw people making gigantic machinimas. I had reached the last war. There was the Forgotten. Did Forgotten Spartans carry over into Reach? I forget.
Didn't a Digital Virus make some pretty good stuff too?
And then we had Rise of the Spartan, which I did not enjoy on a personal level, but I respect its achievements. It was.
Here's the thing. Like, I don't think that, and I'm saying this with the utmost respect for Arbiter 617's directing skills. He's not a good actor.
Oh really?
I don't think he's that good of a voice actor.
In an interview, I don't know if you remember, but there was these fireside chat video interviews that I think his name GeoVale did, and Arbiter was in one of them. He even admitted that he wasn't that good of a voice actor.
Okay, at least if he can admit that, then that's
you're on
good.
the same page.
But yeah, anything else you want to mention, Chronicler?
It was a different time than the Halo 3 time, but it was definitely size-wise when the community peaked. It was not when the quality peaked. I think that's happening right now. But it was definitely the biggest it ever was, and probably ever will be again.
Yep.
All right, Dan, how about you? What's your opinion on Halo Reach Machinima?
I would definitely say, like, Halo 3, like, took it here, then Reach, like, took it there. Like, the community exploded, and like Chronicler said, I think there was a huge, like, a large quantity of machinimas, but not a lot of quality. But I think in general, the idea of it was to just get people, like, when Reach came out, like, people were interested in machinima. Like, not that people weren't interested in Halo 3, but when Reach came out, like, the community exploded. Everyone was interested in everyone's videos. Everyone was sharing any machinima videos that they could because, you know, back then it's like the glory days. You know, one person does a cool trick in Forge World, and everyone's like, I gotta find out how they did that. I gotta find out how this person did that and everything. So I think Reach was definitely, like, I guess the best way to put it is like the Star Wars of our video games. It's the one that everyone got interested in, and then everything after that, everyone was like, let's try to make it better. Let's try to keep improving on this and expand the story even more.
And there were a lot of zombie machinimas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like The Running Dead. And it's interesting that you mentioned Star Wars and Halo, because Star Wars and Halo do have a lot of similarities. Like, for instance, the original three are heralded as the greatest. Then you get the prequel, which is at first not really received too well in terms of campaign, but then people start warming up to it when the sequels come out. Yep. And then you have the sequels, which start out strong, but then get weaker as they go on. And let's not forget that that Halo 2 and Halo 3 is about basically the second in command of the Emperor of the Empire faction going against his master and actually ends up killing him.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one thing I just realized. All right, so is that all, Dan? Anything else you want to talk about in terms of Halo Reach?
I did want to comment on Chronicler's statement with saying the theater mode did go downhill. So I was going through some of my old videos, and I remember I actually did a 4-minute fight sequence on a firefight map. And I remember how terrible that was to sound edit. Because every single soundbite, I was like, I can't do this because the announcer is just constantly talking. So let me just wipe the sound clean, and every single thing is its own audio file. And it was, oh gosh. It took me a month to do that 1 4-minute sequence, but...
Crazy. I don't even know why that was a thing to begin with. Like, it was fine in Halo 3.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck
I don't
happened.
get it.
All right, Epsi, how about you? What's your thoughts on Halo Reach?
Reach was my bread and butter. Love it.
See, I'm kind of biased because I got started with Reach after watching RB and the Chief season 5 and 6 because I love those seasons of RB and the Chief, and that's mostly what got me into Halo Machinima. So, thank you, John, if you're watching this.
So when I think of and hearing everyone else talk about it, like, I feel like when you think of, like, you know, when you think of like a book or a movie, there's always the tier list of like what's going on, like the rising action, the climax, and then the falling action. That's what I feel like has been happening for the past, 10 plus years. So like Halo 3 was the rising action, Reach was like the climax where like it plateaued and it got big and then plateaued, and then it slowly kept getting not worse and worse, but it was at
down.
least decreasing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for me, like anything I've thought of, even all my projects that I want to do now, have Reach involved, at least a little bit. Like, Reach was the game that made me want to play Halo and stuff. Like, I played it with my friend over his house, and a week later I got an Xbox 360, and I had every Halo game.
I should also mention, I always found that the Reach way of lowering your weapon, doing the alert carry, was much easier than the other games. Because in the other games, you would have to jump to lower your weapon, which is always annoying.
Also get arthritis from trying to press everything.
I had to do in Halo 3. I had to do the thumbstick with my chin, so I'd like press my
Yeah, that's what I had to do. I had to do that too. Oh my god.
All right, Mega. What about you? What are your thoughts on Reach Machinimas?
So I have probably some of the best memories with Reach. Like honestly, out of all the Halo games, it's always going to be my favorite, just because it's just all the memories I've had with it, and especially with how with recently MCC reviving Halo Reach and all that, and just how much great stuff that they added to it and all that.
We will get to MCC.
Yeah, but like it's just like it's always had a special place in my heart, and I've always had loved so many of the Machinimas, even the older ones and all that. And it's really what basically inspired me to join the community and stuff. Mostly started out as a body actor, but I really wanted to push more and all that. Not only to make some, but mostly just for voicing, because I just found the voice acting idea, participating in some of these great stories, like a better idea. And so there were some times that I just really wanted to like be a part of these, but I just didn't know how at the time. Like there was always like some people were saying, "Oh, you got to do this and this," and sometimes people would flat out lie to me in terms of how you get into a certain machinima and stuff like that. Like it's a bit of it was kind of sad, but when I really actually started to understand how you actually be a part of this and what equipment you actually use, I managed to get all the needed. And yeah, so basically it just started gradually from there, but I didn't really get as involved as I am now until a couple years later. But Reach was where it began for sure. Like my love for machinimas and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty.
All right, what about you, Grumpy? You got any opinions on Reach?
Reach as a game, I'm a bit on the fence about. Always had opinions about that. Reach as a machinima tool, I love it because of it's very easy to use. It's the most balanced. Some games have other positives and negatives. Reach it's very balanced. It's easy to get into. It's very convenient with how fast you can unlock customization, and just how easy it is to use the tools. You can just step in, make something, and put it out into the ether. Some other things I like about Reach was in theater, they added like options to where you can lock your y-axis to only the point where you're at, so you can pan around things. Yeah, pan cam. You can change the sensitivity of your camera speed and your camera turn.
Did they not have that in Halo 3?
They didn't.
No, they did not.
Wait,
they added that in Reach.
Something with pan cam at least, but maybe I'm just going crazy.
I remember it was all in Reach.
If they did, it wasn't that great, from what I remember.
Wait, they had this in Reach?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had it in Reach.
And every other Halo game has had it.
I learned something new today.
But also another thing, like I like using 3 for some shorts because it's very bright and vibrant. A lot of people don't like the sort of washed out gray look of Reach, and I agree to some point.
Yeah,
except in one part of my workflow where I'm doing color correction. Reach, because of its washed out gray look, it's very easy to color grade in, so you can make a lot of different settings, a lot of different looks with it.
That's true.
Now, I think with Reach, you have to remember that the washed out color palette sort of works for the game it is, because it's not.
It's absolutely intentional. Yeah.
It's a game that's about the fall of.
Yeah.
Like one of the greatest tragedies of the UNSC.
Yeah,
and one of the biggest hits that humans took during the Human Covenant War. So I think that was kind of
It
intentional.
wouldn't have the same impact if it looked like the other games.
But let's.
I'm sorry. What were you saying, Hugh?
Yeah, but
What were you
let's
saying,
not
Mega?
forget probably one of the biggest contributions Reach did was how expanded the Forge was. The introduction of Forge World, the idea of like we had sandboxes in Halo 3, like with maps
Foundry.
like Foundry and Sandbox, but this was something that where they really expanded upon that a much larger playing field to work with. A lot of different more objects, a lot of different techniques. Yeah, because the thing is, Halo 3 didn't have it in which you could freeze items in the air. Every time you put any object down, it just crumbles and falls apart. You literally have to stack all this shit like a freaking cairn, and you're always afraid. Oh no, it's gonna topple over. Please.
The worst part of Halo 3 was that I don't know if you guys remember, or I don't know if Chronicle remembers this. I think it's like called the step glitch, where, for example,
Oh,
if
yeah.
it would like vibrate or something.
Yeah.
Or like the arm glitch.
But yeah, like Reach really expanded upon the foraging and all that, and people were able to create some of the most awesome creations, whether it was art or hell, the Machinima set maps and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though, yeah, I do agree that the color palette was just not as great and stuff, the things that people were still even able to create, and even create now through MCC, of course, and stuff, it's still impressive, like all the time.
Yeah.
All right, so if there was one other thing I wanted to mention, that Halo Reach had that because it was locked at 30 frames per second, it had to make up for that with a ghosting effect, which made masking much harder. But yeah, so I think we talked a lot about Halo Reach, so let's talk about Halo 4.
Yeah.
Now before I let y'all talk, let's just point out that 343. They have this weird trend of adding in something that's really cool, while at the same time taking out something that everyone really liked for no other reason than just because. So in this case, they put in this cool idea called Spartan Ops, but took out Firefight. And another one, they gave us more customization control over our Spartans, but then took out Elites.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really huge step back.
Yeah.
And then there's that weird. Here's the thing: Halo 4 is not bad to make Machinima out of. It's just I don't think it's as good as Halo Reach was.
It has some.
And a large part of that is because the alert carry has a weird glitch that whenever you move, it raises the frickin' weapon because no one added in an animation for that. But I do think that the Forge was heavily improved with the inclusion of mechanics like what do you call it? The magnets. I love that, and I love the new weapons too. I love the new armor abilities. And honestly, I don't even mind the fact that sprint is now just something everyone has at start.
I like it.
It just makes action scenes more intense, in my opinion, and I like that.
Yeah.
And I have used it in a couple of Machinimas, and I honestly enjoy it. So, and I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's fine for what I need doing. So, Chronicler, what do you think about Halo 4 Machinima?
Halo 4 is my favorite Halo game, so at least for the campaign and all that. So I'm a little biased towards it. As far as making Machinimas go with it, I made Odd Man Out, both seasons of Odd Man Out with it. I made Lifebringer, and I made Biker on 3, as well as a couple shorts. So I have, I would say, a pretty good list of stuff that I did with it, and I think I used it to its max potential. Theater took another step back, where now sometimes medals would appear on the detached camera, in addition to the announcer, which is weird. And then, of course, you have the broken as fuck alert carrier, which I have no defense for that. What?
Yeah, no defense.
Hold on. Yes? I don't know, honey. I don't know, honey. Probably under the oven? I don't know, honey.
Aw.
Sorry.
Oh, that's cute.
Anyway.
How wholesome.
But what we got, I think Halo 4 is one of the best looking Halo games ever. It is fucking gorgeous. At least for the environments. Some of the armor isn't so much, but there's a lot of good armor in there too. The detailing on the weapons and the vehicles, actually, some of that was removed for Halo 5, so in some ways it looks better than Halo 5 does. And then Forge, we got magnets, we got shadows, which is really underappreciated. Shadows are such a common thing now in Halo 5, but they were introduced in 4.
With shadows you can get more creative shots and like do a more foreboding imagery.
And then we lost elites, which sucked. But elites are not always crucial to the making of the Machinima, so while it sucked, I'm not going to hit them too much for that, although I know they're not coming back for Infinite, which I'm still bummed about. I was hoping they'd be back in 5, they weren't. I don't feel like they're coming back in Infinite, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good stuff.
Even though everyone requests them.
I feel is not appreciated enough. People shit on Halo 4 way too easily, and I hate that, because there's so much good you can do with Halo 4. Yes, it's got a couple of problems, but if you just work past those problems, there's a lot of good that it does. It looks cleaner and brighter than Reach, so if you're making a less heavy machinima, it's good for that. It's not terrible.
Yeah, I totally agree.
No, I do think that Forge World is superior to Forge Islands because there's more land.
Okay, fair enough. But we also got, keep in mind, in addition to Forge Island, we also got 3 other canvases. Whereas, Forge World, if I want to go back and make a Reach machinima, the only free palette that I have on Halo Reach is Forge World, which everybody is used to death. If I want to go back to Halo 4, I've got 4 palettes, which is cool.
I do. You know what? I do like Impact. That's one of my favorite maps to do stuff on, because I love doing space station stuff.
Yeah.
Now would you say that Halo 4 was easier to do machinima on than Reach and Halo 3, or harder, or about the same?
Easier than Halo 3. The Forge was a lot better. The theater and the animations were not as good as Halo 3, so kind of.
What about Reach?
Than Reach, that was much closer because they had a very. I still think, I think Forge Mode gets a bit more points than Reach for having like shadows and more options for the palettes
and the magnets.
But animations, again, I think Reach had better animations. Halo 4 introduced that weird stopping and starting animation where you go like that.
Yeah.
Where Reach didn't have that, so there's that. And then of course Alert Carry, like, hey, let me walk towards you.
Yep.
Yeah, it kind of evens out. Again, it just depends on. I just feel like Halo 4 has some very underappreciated strengths, and I think that needs to be acknowledged.
Yes.
All right, what about you, Dan? You have any opinions on Halo 4 machinima?
I completely agree with that statement. Halo 4 gets so much crap for no reason. Like, I get it's not Bungie anymore, and it's not the best Halo game ever, but like Chronicler said, if you can work past some of the small faults in the Forge and the theater, you can make great machinimas. Like,
now here's the thing with Halo 4, it was 343 Industries' first Halo game, like first full, like they did do Combat Evolved Anniversary, but the multiplayer and the game was just a upgraded reskin, and the multiplayer was Reach.
Yeah.
But with Halo 4, they had to basically do everything from scratch.
Yeah. And
So you have to keep that in mind when you're critiquing Halo 4. It's not going to be a perfect Halo game because this is someone new that's being handed the reins.
Exactly.
All right, I'm sorry. Keep going.
For there being their first game, it's not bad. And like a lot of gaming companies like fail at making a first game. I mean, they were blessed with given a great universe to work with, so they had an easy-ish kind of time with the story. But regardless, so anyway, what Chronicler was saying about Halo 4 and all its positives, like, I personally absolutely love the lighting, the coloring of Halo 4. Like, I love it. And I go crazy at the shadows and the lighting with all my machinimas. I don't know if you've seen Lone Wolves, but, like, I love the look of Halo 4 so much. And when I was making Lone Wolves, I was debating whether to use Halo 5 or Halo 4, and I'm like, I'm just going to use 4 because I like the look of it. I don't want to just do everything. Like, I could use Forge Island, but I don't want to just use solely Forge maps. I want to highlight the Halo 4 maps that everyone loves to play
They
on.
have so many good ones.
Yeah.
There's so many great Halo 4 maps.
Yeah.
It-
So yeah, it's like because the thing is that as much as I love Reach and its maps and stuff like that, the amount of detail that's in the background of Halo 4's maps is incredible. Like one of my favorites is that one crystal one, the one with the green crystals everywhere. I forgot the
Shatter.
name of it. Shatter.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
that
Yeah.
one's a cool one.
Yeah.
I should mention also they did add in new weapons to Halo 4, the Forerunner weapons.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for them because they disintegrate people, and that's awesome. How do you not like that?
Yeah, but
But
not just not just the new UNSC weapons, the new Covenant weapons, but especially the new vehicles. The Mantis was the best thing that they've ever made. Like that.
The
I'm so
Mantis
scared. I'm
makes
so
the
scared.
Mantis makes me feel like an actual badass.
Mhm.
All right, what about you, Epsi? You have any thoughts on Halo 4, Machinima?
Real quick before I do that, I want to mention with the Mantis thing. I remember the day that the Ragnarok Mantis trailer came out on Waypoint, and I watched that, and I seen the robot. I'm like, "What is that?" And like seeing Valhalla,
It's a
back
transformer.
and stuff, like that's like, the new Blood Gulch in a sense, and I think that was great.
As well as seeing you can teabag with the bloody thing.
Exactly. Same with
That's the
holograms,
best
same with
part.
holograms too. For Halo 4, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of like ucks because of my experience with Halo 4. Since I was a newer player and stuff, it was my first like pre-ordered Halo game and everything. So I didn't really machinimate a lot with Halo 4. I more was in the military Halo clans and stuff at the time. So like, so I know. It was fun. Listen, it was fun. It wasn't UNSC versus none of that BS. But everyone else said, like it's a beautiful game. It didn't really deserve much hate. It did. Like Chronicler, you honestly like right now convinced me. I think that Halo 4 might be my favorite game. Like I've always said Reach, but in the back of my mind, same with like some of like I hate to bring up Star Wars, but some of that stuff. Like you're afraid to voice your opinion nowadays because everyone's gonna like,
Lynch
shit on
mob you
for
for
and
it.
stuff. Yeah, it's like we like this stuff. Just let us like it and all. Like, you're always stuck in this trend of being scared of voicing your opinion and stuff. I feel like Halo 4 was one of those things.
Yeah, and
Halo 4 is like the Force Awakens. It's not the greatest thing, but it is a very strong start and has a lot of potential.
I will fight to the fucking death over this. Halo 4 has the best campaign, the best story, the best characterization, and quite possibly, and this is where I lose a lot of people, quite possibly the best music.
I'm still gonna say that Halo 3 for me has the best music. It just has so many memorable pieces. But Halo 4's music is not that bad. I just feel like it was a step back after they got rid of Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore, because it's just like it's like if you took John Williams out of Star Wars and got
we lost them, but consider what we got. The 117 theme, Arrival, Two Galaxy,
Oh, I love
Nemesis, Revival, fucking Convoy, fucking Pylon. So many good tracks that to this
Now I
day-
will say Halo 4's music is much more memorable than Halo 5's, and I'll give it that.
Halo
Now,
tracks, but Halo 4 stands out so well.
Now, Hugh, what about you? What do you think of Halo 4, Machinima?
So, funnily enough, it was Halo 4 that I actually had my first actual machinima that is still on my channel. Not most proud of it. It was called Venom at the time, and not related to the Marvel character, by the way.
We are Venom.
At the time, I was pretty proud with it. Obviously, now I've gotten more experience and all that. But I will say that even though I was kind of wanting a Reach Machinima as my actual first one, I kind of liked how Halo 4 at the time just had a lot of interesting stuff. The biggest one being the green screen that they added.
Oh, that's very helpful.
I forgot about that.
The green screen allowed. Yeah, the green screen allowed for the guy that I was working with at the time, Daldar, and all that.
I know Dal.
So he and I worked together on this and stuff. We wanted to make something really cool, and so we kind of utilized as much as we could with this machinima and stuff, and just had a lot of fun. Especially the green screen definitely helped with some of the effects that we did and all that. So overall, I do like it. The only thing that I just always had the issue with was just the armors I like, but getting them was always such a task and all that. Like, well,
It's pretty much. It's
I
not that
definitely
much
feel
different
that.
than Halo Reach, but
but I with Halo Reach, I always enjoyed like kind of like grinding for the armor at the time and all that. But with Halo 4, I don't know what it was with me, but I just always I didn't really enjoy that much trying to get some of these armors, especially how I will say, even though some of the armors look great, some of them look fucking hideous. I'm sorry, but
the unicorn helmet.
Yeah,
especially some of the redesigns for original helmets, I absolutely loathed. Particularly the original EVA, which I'm glad that they kind of fixed it up again in Halo 5 and all that. But it's just, yeah, there were certain things that were just going, like, as well as the fact that elites were not present. That was also a little bit of a turn off.
I'm sure that hit you really hard. Yeah.
It did. It did. I love playing as my alien and all that.
Mhm.
Although I do love the fact that they had other things to kind of offer in place of that, as well as just some really exciting, interesting game modes and interesting objects to really play around with, especially in the Forge and all that. And I do like a lot of the canvases, and I do agree it also has the best story as well. Yeah, it definitely has a lot of fun aspects, although I just never really find myself going towards it much for Machinima because of some of the things that I just... There's like teeny little things that just kind of get under my skin as well and all that. But I do think it's a good engine, and I think that people do give it too much hate, so... But I think it's pretty good overall, so...
All right, Grumpy, how about you?
I probably have a bit of bias since day one. I've always liked Halo 4. But as far as like for Machinima, I think it's a little bit on the fence. There's some aspects like what Chronicler said, shadows. I definitely like using that and the being able to twist the lighting engine to make different types of sets with that. If you want a set to be very bright or if you want a set to be very dark, you can sort of twist the lighting engine to reflect that. But one thing that I've always liked about Halo 4, this is why I always like constantly using it, and not many people know about this, is that if you have one main account, your other 3 guest accounts can use the armor you unlock
Yes,
on your main account.
yes,
That's
I
how made
like
Oddman
that.
Out. Yes, that is. Yes, it was so good for
I
Machinima.
forgot
It's one of the
about
most
good.
useful features I've
Forgot
ever
about
seen,
that.
and I'm disappointed it wasn't in Halo 5, and it's not going to be continued in Halo in Infinite.
You fucking know it, Bob.
Yeah. I had a
Because
monitor.
All right, so on the topic, yeah.
I don't have a
Was that
problem
it,
with
Grumpy?
body acting, but I prefer doing everything by split screen so I can have complete control and I can do it at my convenience. And Halo 4 is
Yeah, that's what
very
I'm used to.
Yeah. Have like a
Okay, so let's talk about Halo 5. Okay, so I'm gonna go first because I have stuff to say about Halo 5. I have such a love-hate relationship with it because on the one hand, it gave us quite possibly the greatest Forge ever of all time, and there's just so much you can do it. Now we did get that kind of Forge with Halo 2 Anniversaries Forge, but I feel like Halo 5 is where it just exploded into this really awesome thing.
Do we want to talk about
Now,
the
what did it?
version of
Now,
Machinima?
we'll talk about it when we get to MCC. I'm gonna do that next.
All right, yeah.
But here's the thing with Halo 5. What was the cost? The cost was we pretty much lost the ability to customize our armor, at least from the body, freely. Like, because what they did was this weird thing where it's just a bunch of armor sets rather than you getting to choose your own armor pieces. Now, granted, you could still choose your helmets and visors, and then we gotta talk about the rec packs. That was quite possibly the most nightmarish thing I can think of for any Machinima creator. And and the loss of split screen, that one hit me hard. Here's why I will never make a Machinima in Halo 5 because I don't have Xbox Live anymore. And everything is always online because there's no split screen. So the only way you're going to be able to make a Halo 5 Machinima is if you pay... How much is the Xbox Live subscription now? Like $60? You have to pay $60 a year or whatever just so you can basically do Halo Machinima. And why would I do that when I could just get on my computer and do it on MCC now?
Yeah, if you're not
And-
playing games on Xbox, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the only reason to do Halo 5. And I'm not saying that Halo 5 is bad to make Machinima on. Theoretically, it should be one of the best ones, but for some reason 343 made these decisions because apparently the game engine couldn't handle 60 frames per second on split screen, and I'm just like, wasn't the point of the Xbox One to make the graphics fidelity better?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, what was that? And Phil Spencer's really weird excuse for it was nobody goes to each other's house to play video games anymore. I'm just
I
like,
remember hearing that, yeah.
I'm just like,
bullshit.
no, that's not a problem. You just don't have any friends. But that really angered me because I do like RB and the Chief stuff, and I really want to do that on Halo 5. Why can't I? It's because I don't have the ability to. And it really bums me out because there's just so much with like the Forge alone. There's just so much you can do with that.
Yeah.
Not to mention, then they give you like the ability to create like pallets. You could make like cop cars with the warthogs. You could make like giant like tanks and transports and stuff. Flying pelicans, all that. Just so much cool stuff, and like the Gauss mantises that oh my god, this should be the best thing to make Machinima off of, but it's like decisions that 343 made with it. It's like who decided this stuff? The rec packs did not help, and the Forge is probably and I'm gonna be honest, I think that everything in Halo 5 looks like plastic.
Yes.
I can see that.
It looks like plastic. It looks like my action figures.
I will only agree particularly for how the Spartans look, but
The Spartans mostly.
I won't agree on in terms of the how everything looks, Forge items and stuff, because the fact that
Yeah, the Forged items they clearly put so much effort in the Forge.
Yeah, but yeah, I will agree in terms of how the Spartans look. Like, they do have a very plastic look, and of course the lack of blood also kind of takes away from that as well and stuff.
And the other thing I do have to mention, crap, what was it?
It'll come to you.
You can do it.
Man, Mega, you made me lose my train of thought. Okay, so. Okay, the Machinima mode was pretty cool. I like that this was technically the first official Halo installment where you could lower your weapons offline. I did like that. I did hear there was issues with theater at first, but I think they fixed that. So I'm not gonna hit on that too hard.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of glitches at first with.
Oh, that's right. The UI. The UI is complete trash. Because like they added in so many armors. And I'm not saying that I'm glad they added so many armors but it's just like it becomes so much harder to find a specific armor because they all look the same in the thing. Yeah. And should I even mention how somehow they managed to screw up which shoulder Emil's knife was on?
I mean, that doesn't really.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I noticed that too, but that doesn't really.
That was me just memeing.
That's a personal nitpick, I think.
His helmet's too big too. It looks like a fishbowl.
It
actually looks like a fishbowl for once.
It's and then to get Helios Skrill. Remember how fun that was?
I got it through a wreck.
Halo 2 on Legendary.
I didn't even need to do that.
Yeah, you
Chronicler, we got in the rec pack.
Yeah, you got in a rec pack. You lucky. Now, Chronicler, you still use Halo 5 for your Machinimas, most notably your fan mail episodes. Why don't you talk to us about what you think about Halo 5 Machinima, since you probably had the most experience on it.
As I feel like I am probably one of the, not the authority, but one of the authorities on Halo, because look at Brotherhood War, it was fucking gigantic.
Yeah.
It was
And
amazing.
Hyborian, my upcoming project, Hyborian, is going to be even bigger and more ambitious than that. So, I feel like I've really gotten in there with Halo 5, and I can tell you all about it. But first, I want to list off the cons. And the cons are locking the game to 60 frames per second makes it play smooth as butter, which is great. But that means we lost
split screen.
We lost split screen, which I actually buy that. I actually buy that because split screen does not work well in the Master Chief Collection, which they tried to fit all the games to 60 frames per second. It still sucks, and I hate it, but it is what it is. It also means we lost some graphical fidelity on certain items. You can look at the Halo 4 Warthog, and it's more detailed than the Halo 5 Warthog.
Wait, there was one, before you continue, there was one thing I noticed, and I want you to confirm this for me, because I'm not sure if it's true, but apparently the explosions for the Warthogs are very died down. While in Halo 4, they were more explosive. In Halo 5, it's just a couple of sparks mostly.
Yeah, explosions in general were dumbed down a bit, and that was all in the name of locking the game at 60 FPS, which again made the game so much better. But for Machinima, which is going to be 30 FPS anyway, mostly doesn't look quite as good. Rec packs sucked. I had to shell out $300 just to get Zack's armor because I didn't have the time to grind for it because I was working full time back then. Still probably would have done the same thing today because the grind sucks dick. So there's those. Theater mode, yeah, is somewhat fixed. Still has a couple problems. Whenever you rewind or fast forward, the entire map like resets and characters like set to a point and then they turn. Which is so fucking weird. And Scorpion turrets do that thing too. You rewind and the turret goes back into position.
Now here's the good news about that though, is you have Machinima Mode, which lets you do it live.
Which I'm getting there. And then of course no elites, which still sucks.
Only just the bodies.
So those would be, I think, the biggest cons of Halo 5. Now, what advantages we have, like you mentioned, the best and biggest Forge mode ever. Holy fucking shit. I don't know how I could ever go back from Halo 5's Forge because
I made an elevator on there. That's how you can tell it's great.
Fucking skyboxes, weather, lighting, fucking scripting.
Yeah, oh my God.
The scripting is the best thing ever.
It may be in Halo.
And then outside of Forge, we also got Machinima Brotherhood War Aftermath was shot entirely on Machinima Mode. Theater was not involved at all. For dialogue and stuff like that, Machinima Mode is fucking incredible. It's also much easier to lower and raise your weapons. It's literally just X and down on the D-pad for 3 seconds. So much easier.
And they don't. It does. I can't remember, but I don't think it does. Does it still have that bug where it raises the weapons, or did they remove that?
Nope, they fixed that.
Good. Okay.
Yep. Let's see. We got. Okay. So yes, limited armor customization kind of sucked, but I have noticed that now when we're looking at Infinite coming up and they're talking about the same amount of customization slots, I've realized, oh fuck me. I'm going to have to tell every single actor which helmet and arms and shoulders and shit to wear, whereas currently I can just go, okay, you put on this visor, helmet, armor. You're good. Yeah. And your colors. You're good. It's actually faster and easier, and people can't get mixed up as easily.
Yeah, but here's the question. Does it hurt making the characters more unique that way?
I don't think so. Because
it does. Okay, it doesn't.
Because, yes, you can't use each individual armor, but there's so many sets out there, and yeah, a lot of them are skins, but even if you remove all the skins, there's still a fuck ton of armor sets to pick from. Helmets are kind of hit and miss, but armor sets are good. Helmets, there's still plenty of them to pick from, so...
I think the helmet... I know I'm going to get hate for this, but I actually kind of like every single armor in Halo 5.
Which is fine, yeah. I think...
But I know that everybody... I know there's people who think like, oh, this boombox head looks like shit.
Hey, if you like it, you like it. When that's perfectly fine. Maybe you can find it.
I like uniqueness, and it's very unique.
Yeah. Let's see, what else? So we got that. We got the massively expanded sandbox of weapons and vehicles. Oh my God. All the rec variants just really opened everything up, and I've already used a whole bunch of them. I plan on using a whole bunch more. You got fucking weapon attachments. Like, if I want an assault rifle with an energy sword bayonet, I got it. It's incredible.
Let's see. There's also the what do you call those things? It's like if you want to make like Basically, like how you made giant super tanks and stuff by adding like pieces.
The welding, yeah.
Well,
No, they had a different name for it, and you could download stuff like off of like some file browser.
Yeah, we have the file browser and then
The prefabs. Prefabs, yeah. I like that.
Prefabs have been so good. So there are a massive amount of strengths with Halo 5, and working with it has not been nearly as bad as I was afraid I was going to be. That being said, I spent a good year or two writing down all of the problems I knew I would encounter and coming up with ways to deal with them, so I was pretty prepared. But still, remember, Mega, body acting, you were there for a little bit. Body acting for Brotherhood War and Aftermath went really fucking smooth.
It really
I did some body acting for I can't remember if it was Ascend or Starfall, but I do remember I did some body acting for some Machinimas.
I remember doing stuff because I actually did a lot of body acting, even for early on when Halo 5 was still pretty glitchy and all that. And it's just like, but even then, some of the things that were able to come out by then with what people were able to work with were pretty decent and all that. But
Now with Halo 5, I would say it is definitely, if you want to make Machinima on it, you better be ready to shell out some cash.
Yeah.
well,
All right.
depending on what you want to do. Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
All right, so
stick-
Dan, what about you? What do you think of Halo 5? That's Machinima.
I think Halo 5 is a perfectly great game on its own. Personally, I have never made a Machinima on Halo 5 because of split screen limitations. Like, for example, like today, I filmed an entire 8-minute Reclaimer video by myself by just using split screen. And, like, I did the entire thing in one day. But, like, in Halo 5, like, not to say that I don't have friends, but it does take a while to, you know, get everyone together, get it all situated, like, oh, and then there's one person that is not coming. Now I gotta find someone else to replace them. You know, it's easier for me personally to work on my own schedule with certain scenes as opposed to just waiting on see who's available today. Okay, I can't do that now because I don't have 4 people. You know,
That's hurt a lot of folks. Like Lost Hobo Films, he just basically just shelved recruits because he can't get body actors. And I personally am very fortunate that I am able to just put out a message and get 10 to 16 people in a lobby, no problem. But not everybody can do that. Which I don't get why, because they're not doing anything different than I am.
I have a potential theory for why that could be and stuff, because this is something that I've encountered too when I tried doing certain Machinimas on Halo 5. I've done a few, but not as many as I wish I could have done and all that. Especially one of the biggest projects that I had that unfortunately I had to shelve because of personal reasons I won't get into. But one of the big things is that I know a lot of people were disappointed in Halo 5 as a game itself. Totally understandable, of course. There are things that not to like about it, but some people gave up to the point where rather than, okay, just putting the game away and all that, is that they literally sell the game off, like delete it, everything gone and all that, because of course that motherfucker takes a huge amount of space on storage. And all
it does.
Like,
And for so little too, sort of.
Sometimes and all that. I would say the amount of content that they have on there kind of shows that, like, it makes sense why there's such a big bar and all that. But I think some people were just so fed up with it that they don't really want anything to do with it. They're gladly able to be a part of all the other Halo games because they always have an attachment to it. But it's just like Halo 5, they're going like, I don't want to. Do I have to pull it out? Do I have to get back on it and all that? There's a lot of people that are unfortunately like that, and it kind of sucks when you have
Which
to.
I get.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get to you in a sec. I'll get to you in a second, Mega. Just Epsi, you have anything you want to say about Halo 5 before we get to Mega?
What do I have to say about Halo 5? What can you say? No. So, again, the only really Machinima I really did was with Mega, and we did Guardians and stuff. And Mega, I don't know if you know, did I do theater mode or did I do Machinima mode?
No, I think it was live Machinima mode.
It was
Machinima mode.
Because then we went and we would hide in the map.
We literally went into the maps. It was just it was a very simple thing to do. But yeah, we did Machinima mode for that. So Because the one thing is that if we did it in theater mode, there was one particular glitch for one scene that I did not want to happen. Is that one of the biggest things in theater mode is that for some reason the armors switch to something else.
Yeah.
Oh,
And all
I
that.
I am
forgot
gonna get
about
to that too, actually.
Yeah, the armor. Yeah, that was one of the unanswered glitches. I haven't seen it in a while, but I know it's still happening.
I can tell you how to fix it.
Yeah, there are ways to fix it now and all that,
no,
but at the time,
yeah.
Yeah,
Isaiah found it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like at the time, it was just happening a lot, and we just felt live mode is better to do it on
Yeah.
and stuff. I just don't want to deal with that shit in case if we mess up somewhere, which I think we did at one point, and we had to redo and stuff.
I
so.
lost the footage, I think, with the clips. I think I forgot to save the clips.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so Mega, what do you think about Halo 5?
So I'm kind of mostly on the same boat as Chronicler in terms of like my thoughts on the thing. I'm actually one of the few people that wasn't so bothered by the Halo 5 story. It's flawed. no.
I'm not too bothered by it either. I just think that
It's fucking dog shit.
I think that there's just a lot of potential that they didn't
Yeah,
go forward with.
But I like the ideas that it had, and especially the environments like that are then translated into some of the Forge maps and stuff. I mean, like even with the lack of elites and lack of certain other things, there are still a lot of things that people could potentially make out of this. You could make literally anything you want. Sure, you may not have a Spartans versus Elite Machinima, but there's a whole bunch of other things. And at the time, I feel like people weren't fully utilizing it until now. I think I've noticed more now that people have started to be able to create certain things with all the resources that it has available to. So I think as a Machinima engine, it is very worth making something out of it. You could literally make anything you want out of it if you just put your heart and your mind to it. Then you can definitely go through with it. And even despite the glitches and all the issues that it has, there are ways around it that people have figured out and stuff. And the whole rec pack thing was a fucking annoyance. I was actually one of the few to actually earn everything. I only ever bought one thing one time, and that was just to get the last of the armor. The rest I just grinded the shit out of because at the time I didn't have as much stuff going on around the time and all that. But
Hey, Dad, you're a bit loud back there.
Can I butt in real quick just to say how dumb I am? So, when Halo 5 came out, obviously, there's the different the rec packs to get the copper, silver, and the gold.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were supposed to open up all the coppers, then the silvers, and then the golds until you started getting the rec points.
Oh.
I would stream on my Xbox, and every stream I would sit there and buy rec packs with my money, and like I was in love with the Argus helmet, the one that Linda wears, and I'm like, it felt like CS:GO when I'm like trying to get a knife. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, can I get it? And I got it the one time, and I like screamed, I'm like, yes, like. I finally got it and all, and it was like, oh my god. But the one thing I did want to mention, like story-wise real quick, too, the only problem I really had with Halo 5 was just how Blue Team was written, because at the time I started getting into...
Well, we're talking about Machinimas, not the campaign so much.
Yeah. Alright,
Yeah,
I know, I just wanted to get into it real quick. Because I got into the lore and stuff, and then that happened, and I'm like, it could have been better. But I just wanted to mention that since, we're all talking about
Fucking
like...
Frank O'Connor over here like, oh, Blue Team doesn't have any.
Now the rec packs, I think one of the more infuriating things about it was just like...
It was just
remember when they tried to explain it to people?
Oh.
I remember how insulting that video was because it's like...
Wasn't it?
Very they had those like red and blue guys. They were saying, "Hey, they were making like good points. Like, hey, what if you are you sure you can't just drop in some super ultra dope tank?" And he's like, "Shut your pie hole, soldier." And I'm just like,
And guess what?
that was actually a good question.
Tank.
Like how do you know it's not pay to win? And they're treating us. They say, "Oh, you have these genuinely good questions." Well, screw you. We don't give a shit.
This is our
At least it was contained in war. Like, at least Arena was still basic, at least
Yeah.
one firefight, and gave you an outlet to use those wrecks. That was PvE.
Okay, so let's keep moving on. Grumpy, you got any final remarks on Halo 5?
Halo 5 was a game.
Yes, it
I
was.
I remember like Halo 5 is a game. That's my thoughts.
Okay.
But not really. I was always I never really bothered by the campaign. I just never replayed it except for the Sangelios missions. The multiplayer, always shifting thoughts throughout the years. Like my opinion of Halo 5 now is I really like it. I like its tools and the Forge and stuff. If you asked me when it came out, I would have said I hated it because of how bare bones it was and how glitchy and broken it was. The reason for the longest time I've never made stuff with Halo 5 is because I was always afraid that I would break the game unintentionally. And also because of split screen, because I like the convenience factor of doing everything by myself.
Yeah. The thing about Halo 5 is there's just so much potential in it that I feel there's just like people can't do it enough as there should be.
I think Halo 5 is kind of a little bit. It has its troubles, it has positives and negatives. You have to work with it, but I think if you can, and not a lot of people do, you can make some cool stuff with it. Like one of my newest favorite machinimas is the Machinima Operator because of how to me it's the most beautiful machinima you could ever. At this point in time, it's the most beautiful machinima you will ever see.
It is.
All right, so I've got one question for you guys, and this is an opinion thing. So it's a yes or no question. Do you think that the removal of split screen multiplayer was worth the 60 frames per second? Do you think that benefited, or do you think that that didn't help Machinima?
No.
Do you think
you don't? No, it didn't help.
I don't think it benefited.
So you don't. So none of you think that's worth it?
What makes it even worse is that if you look at Spartans that are long distance, they're at less than 30.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that they had to do in order to lock it, but I can't answer that with yes or no.
Do you think they shouldn't have tried to lock it at 60 frames?
See, I want to say that they shouldn't have because.
Do you think it was worth it?
But
I personally don't.
Playing the game is so buttery, fucking smooth. It's hard for me to say no.
Yeah, because we have to remember it is a game first and a machinima creating tool set.
Exactly. Yeah.
We do have to remember that, and I do think as a gameplay mechanic, it was great, but for machinima, it does hurt its potential, and it's kind of one of the reasons that Arbiter 617 does not make machinimas anymore.
Well, according to 343, Infinite will be both CFPS and have split screen, so I guess they.
Not that it'll matter for me because I'm doing it on PC. So
Well, Infinite's gonna
now before we move on to Halo Infinite, we do have to talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you
Real
said
quick.
it's going to be on, you're going to use it on PC and split screen's going to matter. I made an interesting discovery with the whole, like, Infinite's going to be crossplay. I did a test on MCC. I used my 4 controllers and my PC with crossplay. I can just do split screen with that and have 5
It
players
works
at a
on.
time.
It works on. Wait, it works on MCC on here?
Yeah, as long as you don't have mods installed, it all works.
Nice.
Oh, that's a bummer. Okay, so before we move on to Halo Infinite, we do have to talk about the Master Chief Collection. And I don't want to talk about what it started out as. I want to talk about it as it is now because it is still an updating thing. Let me give my personal opinion on it. I think that the Master Chief Collection is one of the greatest things ever known to mankind. At least now, not when it started out, because we all know the horror stories. But let's look at this Halo Reach mods. We got new armor sets. We finally got the ability to do the default chest with the robot arm now. And it's 60 frames per second and off and online weapon lowering. Like, how can you not love that?
Yeah.
And there's a mod and they have that new mode, the anti-cheat thing, where they turn it off, and that will really help machinimas, I think. Now, if I have one gripe, because I did do some test machinima stuff on it for one of my upcoming episodes, it's that the Reach Theater mode is broken. For some reason. Okay, so basically what I did was I went forward. I got the shot I wanted. You know how like in the original Reach you could go back and it would go back like 10 seconds usually? Well, this time it went back all the way to the beginning, so I had to go and re-get my shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was I sort of had to work around that. But like MCC, it has added a bunch of new stuff. They added in the ability to change like vehicle skins and stuff. They expanded upon the Halo 3 customization and added in some Halo 4 armors, which I think is great. They added that you don't have to make everything normal now on Halo 3 Forge. Everything can be phased or fixed now, which is awesome. And they added in new weapons to Halo 3, and they're planning on adding the. I have a source that tells me they're going to be adding even more armors to Halo 3, which I think are from Halo Online. Now, only gripe I have is that Halo 4 still does not have the DLC armors yet, and I do like some of the DLC armors from Halo 4.
I think they are,
but they are coming, so I'm not going to be too hard on them for that. But I do think that Halo 4 is a huge step forward for Halo Machinima. I think that's what's going to keep Halo Machinima alive, not Infinite. Yeah. And we will get to why when we get to Halo Infinite. Now, Chronicler, I know you've done Machinima's large scale on MCC. So why don't you tell me your thoughts on MCC's Machinima skills?
So I used Halo 2 Anniversary for Spartans Generation, and I used Halo 3 MCC. Yeah, the early.
That's right. Halo 2 Anniversary does not have that many armor sets.
No, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Halo 3 MCC I used for Generation Omega Halo remake of one of my first published Machinima Spartans. So this was all before all these shiny updates came out. So I have not yet gotten to use any of the awesome new shit that they've added. If Mega and I ever get around to making Splintered Legacy, if we ever find a slot to make that, I will hopefully get to use them. Although your comment about the Reach Theater mode is not encouraging. Well,
yeah, I hope they fix it, but it kind of goes back. You have to kind of be lucky with it because sometimes it'll go back. Maybe it uses the sections, like how it makes bookmarks. Well, it hops between the bookmarks usually.
So what I can talk about is the experience that I had early on, and since we haven't talked about Halo 2 Anniversary at all, I will say it has elites, which is great, which also means that there's no fucking reason they couldn't have been in 4 and 5 , so what
exactly, because they're literally the same engine. Like, literally, you can hear the same type of announcer, the same little thing and all that.
So there's no real reason why they shouldn't be in Infinite either, so.
Except
which I'll also have my argument towards that, but we'll get into that later.
Now, Halo 2 Anniversary basically fixed all of the problems that Halo 4's Forge and Theater mode had. The animations were better. You didn't have the raising weapon and it was lowered and you walked forward. Dual wielding animations were perfect, unlike in Halo 3 where you could lower your weapons and go like that. You actually had, I remember shooting this shot in Generation where Saul had 2 SMGs and he crouched and he put them up like this. And it was super fucking cool. Yeah. So that was great. Forge mode.
Also, Halo 2 Anniversary added in the assault rifle for Halo 2.
Yes, they had the assault rifle. They had the gun goose. They had the Hornet. They had new.
Silence.
The problem is, it was very. The actual tools and everything they had in it is not very. So I basically expended everything that I could use in Halo 2 Anniversary in one Machinima. It was a great Machinima, I think. It was pretty good. But if we wanted to go back to it, everything's going to look exactly the fucking same.
Halo 2 Anniversary has a very lack of content in terms of multiplayer.
What it has is fine for 1 or 2 projects. That's about it.
But for a whole thing, probably not.
We do have to point out that Halo 2 Anniversary did technically introduce the idea of scripting.
Yes, that's true.
It
worked well. And then Halo 3 back in the day, it was what it was. It was exactly like original Halo 3, except we had to fuck around with the emblems. We found out that emblems were somehow linked to your service tag back
originally,
then.
Yeah. It was such a weird ass thing.
So that was that. It was basically just like going back and using Halo 3 again. It's fine. The biggest problem with MCC is that to this day, you still cannot save theater files, and you can only have a maximum of 50 custom files. That's maps, screenshots, whatever, and custom games.
I only have 12 for videos.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's weird. It's a pain.
Like I want to like I can't save them to my computer or something.
No, not that I can tell.
Like I wish like why wouldn't they give you the option to do that? Is my question.
Honey, I had 20 chicken nuggets.
Try it, please.
Chicken nuggets.
Big cheese.
Come on, don't deny a man his
nuggets.
chicken nuggets.
Hey, share the chicken nuggets.
Chicken
chronicler.
nuggets are like family.
All right, so you have anything else to add in, chronicler?
All
Finish it.
right, I'll finish. Thanks. Love you.
Love you too, honey.
No, that's I'm really excited to hopefully get to use the new shit. I mean, holy shit, actual functioning pelicans in Halo 4 Forge, silenced weapons and Visor colors in Halo 3.
The Saber and Seraph in Halo Reach.
Yeah.
Fucking sabers and trucks and shit.
And let's not forget mods like what was that one that open world one where you can pilot a freaking scarab?
Which is cool, but I'm not on PC, so.
If that happens, I will flip.
No, someone made a mod where there's like a map and you can drive the scarab on it.
Oh my god.
So that's all I got to say on it.
And it's you know that area from Tip of the Spear where all those warthogs and scorpions are going to attack the Covenant. It's like a
someone made
huge
that
battle. It's
title.
basically that map.
Beam. It's called
It
Extinction.
looks- Yeah, Extinction. Thank you, Epsi. And there's also on Halo 3, it's Arcbound, and it's what was the modder's name? Rejected Shotgun.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, he's a great modder, and he did Arcbound, and you can actually drive scarabs on it, and that's going to be huge,
So cool.
both
I've been
metaphorically
talking a
and
lot.
literally.
I've been talking a lot. I'm a little lightheaded. I'm gonna get some water. You guys keep. I'll be right
Okay, so Dan, you're up. Why don't you talk about Halo MCC?
So I know we said we're not gonna talk about FCC when it first came out. I will say it wasn't as good as it is now. Right now.
I actually made it a meme on one of my RB and Chief videos where
Oh, really?
Chief gets MCC and he tries to play it, but the connections are all screwed up, and so he gets depressed and he's just lying there and he's just like,
That's
there's because he can't play Halo, so he's just depressed,
Or it's like
funny.
the 15-minute wait times and stuff for matchmaking.
and then he keeps disconnecting him.
Yeah, but MCC now, I honestly love it. Like, it's just so great to have. Like, I know it sounds basic to say that I can just play Halo 3 and then play Halo 2 on the same console, but like, it's just so great.
And Reach at 60 frames per second is just so gorgeous.
Oh, yes.
I love
it. And then, like, with all the stuff that they added to Halo 4 recently, like, it's like I'm playing the game all over again. Like, Forge is just amazing, and it's just been so much fun piloting a Pelican on impact and just crashing into my friends. It's just
And
the best.
The broadsword too.
Yeah, you can now have dogfights in Machinimas with the sabers and the seraphs also,
And
which
in
is
Halo 4 with the broadsword.
Yeah, even though they are hard as fuck to control, those things,
Oh, yeah.
it's just like.
But they're
it's
so
like-
much
it's
fun
like
to control,
once,
too.
It's like once you get in, you better be committed.
Basically.
you know what I like about it is that is in Machinimas now you can do bombing runs with those things.
Oh yeah, you could, but
That's gonna be pretty fun to do. I can't wait to do that in a Machinima.
it's just so damn fast that you just you really just need to figure out how you're gonna control it, and you gotta make sure don't fucking hit a tree because the trees are nightmares now.
I got a question.
And they added in the campaign Falcons, which is pretty big. And I managed to nab myself SVE Mythic Slayer on MCC.
Oh yeah.
You remember that thing? Remember from episode 11, the tank copter? I got it on MCC now.
Oh,
that's awesome.
that's cool.
I don't know if you just heard, but I was talking about how on MCC I managed to get SVE Mythic Slayer from Halo Reach, which allows you to get the Falcon,
Yeah. Cool.
the Falcon with the Scorpion turret on it.
That's so cool.
Sounds nifty.
And if you want to see it in action, it's in episode 11 of RB and the Chief Next Gen. Okay, so you have anything else you want to talk about with it, Dan? And that it?
No, that's basically it. I mean, like I said,
Okay.
I love it. I love MCC now, and
Now, Epsi, you have done a bit of some attempts on Machinima and MCC, so why don't you talk about?
I know with you the same thing. I think Dan, you brought it up, was the fact that you can't save your files and stuff. So me and Beam do this thing, like after we work on something or do something, we'll play. It's the Hacker Removal Squad Firefight game mode that he made, where one person's Clyde and the other ones are the Hacker Removal Squad. Basically,
Yeah, Mega's played it too. He got
playing-
spooked one time.
we were playing this so much that I lost my files that I did, like the previous day and stuff with my friend Goose and Beam, and I'm like, well, I can't work on it now. It's like they force you to just like, you got to work on it now, and that's not how a lot of us work and stuff. But besides that, I mean, like all of you guys are saying, the mods are like are amazing, and once all the mod tools and all that stuff comes out next year, it's like it's literally going to turn into like games like Skyrim and Fallout and like all the games that are very popular with the workshop and stuff. Like you could do anything. Like people can make their own armors. Like everyone has wanted like Hayabusa in like Reach or something or 4 or anything. You could do it now, like because of the mod support. But
It'd be pretty neat.
like I'm trying to think of like more of my experience. All right, so the Halo 3 armors, because I know they're very controversial and stuff.
Oh my god.
To the point, I think it's one of the best things in my opinion because it helped me out a lot. So I won't go into detail because I'm not done writing it and stuff, but I'm trying to create my own universe in a machinima where it's much like a sci-fi like Odyssey kind of thing, like like Star Wars.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, exactly. It's a ripoff. No, I'm kidding. It's like
Or
Star
BBC
Wars or
Season 8.
Halo or like Mass Effect kind of thing, but each person's armor represents a different species. Well, I can only do a certain amount of thing with the standard Halo 3 armors. Now that there's new armors, I can do the tech suits could be older models or newer models. All the new armors can represent something. Like it really helped me out, like for that, and I'm kind of grateful with that. And now that they might add more armors, I don't know what to do. I might have a stroke just from like all
It's really exciting what they're doing.
All right, so Mega, what about you? You have any thoughts on MCC Machinimas?
Yeah, so yeah, in terms of the MCC Machinimas, well, it's been what most of my videos are going to have been so far, and also some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing with Dan, especially, and all that. Especially.
Yeah.
Don't you use MCC for your own personal stuff? Like when you do when you did like a review of Captain Marvel.
Oh
Sort
yeah,
of.
like when I did the funny
Yeah.
little gigs
Yeah,
and
like
stuff
Randy.
like that, the real thoughts shorts and stuff. I always thought it was just okay. Maybe I can use the engine more because of just how Halo Reach and stuff is being added and all that. Originally, I didn't want to touch it because it's just how bland it felt before they added Halo Reach and then before they added all this incredible stuff. So it's like as soon as they added all this stuff in it to like really like bring back the good old days of Halo, but also just all the new stuff they did to just keep on adding and all that. I absolutely love it and all that.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
It's honestly amazing, and I love getting into it and stuff, and I definitely am going to be working on it a bit more for sure. And I guess the one thing I will say, which I will get more into when we discuss in Infinite, I like the fact that the guy who has been handling all the stuff on MCC lately is also going to be the same one who's going to be helping out with the content for Halo Infinite's multiplayer. So it's just like
That's good.
if he offers the same amount of effort he's been doing on MCC's like content and all that, like adding all this really great stuff, then I'm excited for that. I want to see what he can do. So
Yeah.
and that's just
be
my thoughts and all that. So.
All right. What about you, Grumpy? You have any thoughts on MCC?
MCC, when I first got an Xbox One, it was the only games I used. So I just used that for Machinima because convenience, you had all the armor unlocked, but also because of the game DVR, you can just record things without shilling out for not shilling, just paying for a...
Card.
Oh my god, I'm having a brain fart for a capture card. But for nowadays, I kind of like using it exclusively for shorts just because convenience, armor unlocked, but also because it was mentioned before, the film limits. You can't save films and they expire after a week. So I just use it for shorts that can be made in less than a week, or for machinimas that I want to make on impulse. For
Yeah.
longer stuff, I just stick to the just base games. But recently, like my Christmas machinima, I actually did an experiment. I was a little intimidated on using mods because I didn't know how to wrap around that. I decided to actually take the plunge, do it for my Christmas special, and what I did was I was able to get Forge Roll to have sort of this snowy look. Like I didn't know Reach had these snow weather effects, and it does. And someone put it on Forge World. They also made a nighttime version of that map, which looks really good if you want to make like nighttime stuff in Reach. It was really cool to use. But I also used this tool called Reshade, which allows you to interject a whole bunch of different effects, different sorts of tools. Like you can add camera blur, you can add different graphical effects like ambient occlusion, ray tracing. It's a little bit finicky, but it kind of works. So for MCC, I think it has a bunch of potential. If you want to utilize it with all the new stuff they're making for it, the new stuff they're adding in. Like for me, I think MCC is just this big experiment. If all they're adding is a bunch of new stuff, all that is just giving me as a content creator a lot more options to work with and a lot more stuff for people to mod with, which means more stuff for me to use.
That's what they should be doing this whole time. Stop removing things, keep throwing shit into the sandbox, give us more options.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know why. I don't know why that's not the norm.
Yeah.
Because we got to have money.
I do know, like, one of, like, the main problems, so I wanted to mention it before, but I didn't think of it, too, like, the Chronicler Dan mentioned it, too, like, not everyone's, like, easy to get a lot of people to do machinimas. I know definitely I've felt that recently, because I'm a new creator, and I'm not as, experienced as everyone else is here, that I feel like 343 should try to make it a little bit more easier for, content
More
creators to
accessible.
get people in your, yeah, exactly. Like, why, like, just for graphics and stuff, like, why would you get rid of things? Like, I feel like it's easier to work by yourself just because you know what you do. Your mind is your mind, so you know exactly what you want and stuff. But then it's like MCC on PC and stuff, like, I love it. I love the mods. I love everything. It's just, it's that part is like, hey, I need you to do this armor, this armor, this armor. Well, I don't have it. Okay, well, get this mod. Oh, I don't have a PC. Like, it's got. I think like they should make it more accessible for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
All right, so anybody have any final remarks on MCC, or should we move to
think we should
the
move
Let's
main
move
course?
to the big one.
Oh no.
Okay, so let's move on to the big subject at hand, Halo Infinite. Now, we're gonna discuss a couple topics here. We're not gonna get to customization right off the bat because I know everyone's gonna want to talk about that.
Yep.
But first thing I want to talk about is the gameplay that we've seen. Now, I know. Okay, so because Chronicler, I know you specifically in your fan mail, you said it looks like a piece of crap. Now let's be fair to them. It was an early build of the game. It was a very beta delta build, if you want to call it that. But I think gameplay wise, so Chronicler, gameplay wise, from what you saw, and we're not talking about graphics, we're talking about gameplay. What did you think of the combat mechanics, and how do you think that might help or harm Machinima?
The mechanics looked about the same as they've been with obvious Pound.
Because it looks like it went back to Halo 3, sort of.
Yeah,
Do you think that...
we still have clamber and slot. So it's kind of a mixture.
I think the interesting thing, though, is going to be that grappling hook.
Yeah, which I'm really worried about because I'll bet you 10 to 1 the animation for that is going to suck dick because I don't know how they can.
I'm worried about how that will be in like multiplayer because how. Yeah.
But the thing is, that thing is supposed to be able to anything, so I just want the animation for that. But if it's a good animation, then the potential there is actually quite good, as well as the that drop shield thing he puts out and it puts up a big shield. That can be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Equipment coming back will definitely be neat. We need to see more of what's implemented.
Yeah.
What about the replacement of the shotgun and the Magnum?
I will miss the originals from a content creator perspective. I don't really give a shit. I think the Bulldog looks really good. I think it'll be awesome to have a more military-looking shotgun there, and the pistol.
What about the where that mechanic that they showed in the gameplay trailer, where you can use the grappling hook to grab something and toss it at people? You think that'll be in multiplayer?
Again, it all depends on the animation. It all depends on the animation on whether or not so we'll see. When I say it looks like shit, I'm talking about visual presentation. The mechanics and stuff looks as the same, basically the same it's ever been. But like they had fucking grass popping in and out. There were clouds popping in. The lighting was shit. The textures were shit. And they said
Halo Infinite 2077.
And this was something that they said they were proud of. And we discovered later from 343, it was not a build. It was not an alpha. It was not a beta. It was current build as of that time, and they were proud of it. God, is horribly, horribly fucking weird. If that's a build that they were proud of, and they were so confident that they could show us all that and be proud and not expect, then they've got more fucking.
Oh my god!
This went
silent. You know what I'm
silent.
talking about? Like,
Yeah, I think I do.
Same thing.
But to be fair, like a day later, they released another promotional material, and the textures for the guns, anyways, looked so much better.
They looked a bit better, yeah.
And Thanos Brute at the end actually had a crease on his forehead. Well, in the gameplay we saw, it just had it was just smooth forehead, smooth brain.
It was at that point I knew that this was not the game we were expecting, and it hasn't been in development for 5 years. Let's be honest about that. They've admitted it, I think. This game has been reshuffled and restarted probably at least twice by now.
And let's talk. And the director, we can't forget the director problems.
The managerial team is going in and out. Guys, there are so many problems behind the scenes of this game, and we are only seeing a fraction of it. I guarantee you.
There's only a few people that. Yeah, there's only a few people that are involved that I do have confidence that they can at least pull something great out of this game and all that. That is the guy that, I forgot what his name is, the person who worked on Halo 2 that they brought in. Joe Staten, yeah. I have confidence in him, and then I also have confidence in the guy that who handles the MCC stuff that they getting over to handle the multiplayer stuff for Infinite. So these are the two people that are the ones that I know will at least deliver something great in the game and all that. The rest I'm so uncertain of and all that.
All right, so
delay it another year and then replace the guy in charge tells me that this game is going through another reshuffle. So we might be seeing for the released product maybe a year and a half worth of actual solid dev time for the final product. That's not good. That is so very not good.
It's just a mess.
All right, what about you, Dan? What do you think of the combat?
I mean, I think the combat is like what we saw was really cool. The grappling hook, the shield, the equipment, everything looked cool. The mechanics looked cool and everything. As a game itself, it looks really neat. But from a content creator's perspective, I know nothing. Like. All I know is that this is what a level will look like. We hear some things about here and there what they might want to do with, multiplayer and things, but like, I don't know. Like I've seen some pictures of the customization and armor. That looks really neat. But I don't know. I'm honestly worried about Infinite because like I have such high expectations for it, but at the same time I'm telling myself not to expect too much. Just generally like I'm excited and worried at the same time,
Which is good to temper your expectations.
What about you, Epsi? What did you think of the combat?
I seen it live too. I streamed the reveal and stuff with me and my friend Goose were watching it. I'm kind of with Chronicler on this. Like, I love like the mechanics. Like I think it's like if they didn't do there's no armor abilities, right?
They kind of are armor abilities, but they're more the Halo 3 one.
Was
So,
it sprint? I thought they had sprint or something.
I think
Sprint.
I don't know
Yeah.
if Sprint's gonna be in it, but I know that they have that thing where you can. It's the shield.
Okay. So like in my mind, I think it would have been like the best of both have the equipment and the armor abilities because that way it's a lot of creativity and you know you could fluctuate like everything. But I liked the mechanics, like the old school looking guns and stuff, like you know the Commando, the Bulldog, the Sidekick. They look nice. Like I don't know why a lot of people give them hate and stuff. Yes, it looks like Call of Duty. Get over it. Like it's
Because it's
FPS.
not iconic.
Exactly. Like, look, I'm gonna get really close to the camera here. Listen, Call of Duty's not the only fucking FPS that has these guns. You got Medal of Honor, you got Battlefield, you got fucking
Doom
Fortnite
Eternal.
for fucking Fortnite and shit. Like, get over it. It's not iconic. They're trying something new.
It looked more like the Doom Eternal shotgun. Which why are they hating on Doom Guy's shotgun?
Like,
I think the point they try to make with the new guns is they don't follow that classic Halo aesthetic, which they scream that fucking word they like so much, iconic.
yeah.
Which makes me want to fucking puke every time I hear it. But that doesn't mean that the guns are bad. Just because
You got the iconic armor. Come on.
just because the sidekick looks like a Glock doesn't make it bad. It looks pretty cool. Just because the Commando isn't bullpup doesn't make it bad. I'm actually really excited for the Commando. It looks pretty sick.
I am too. It reminds me of the Kavaz stuff.
It's kind of like a faster DMR.
Yeah,
And it looks like a special forces rifle.
It does.
Like if I have a character who are like, oh yeah, I want this person to scream like, oh I'm a special operative and shit, I'm gonna give him a Commando because that's the kind of gun it looks like.
All right,
I love it.
You got any more Epsi?
Yeah, just a little bit more. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love it too, just for the fact that obviously by the shirt and everything, I'm a huge Destiny. So like,
Yeah.
I love it just because it reminds me of the Cabal stuff, which is like the first gun you get in D1, and it's just like I see that and I'm like, oh my god, that's the Cabal stuff, and it's just, some good stuff. But
All right, Mega. What about you? You got any thoughts?
Yes.
Let's hear it, Mr. Huffman.
It's no secret that I do have my worries. I do have a lot of concerns, but I am trying to have at least some form of optimism for certain elements and certain.
You're one of the most optimistic people I know, Mega.
Well,
And I don't know why. I really don't
I'm
know.
scared to be optimistic.
It always depends on the subject matter. There are some things that, like, if I get a good feeling about something, then I could that I can latch onto. I'm going to latch onto it as much as possible. And most of the time, when I ever have a good feeling, I'm usually right about it. Whenever I have a bad feeling, I'm usually right about that too.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
I do have some bad feelings about Infinite, but that's for later subject. In terms of gameplay and combat, I have a good feeling about it because when I saw the demo and all that, I think it looks pretty great. Like the idea, like some of the equipment, especially like that grappling hook had me.
I love it.
That grappling hook, I was just like, oh my god, that's so awesome.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gave me some Doom Eternal vibes for sure, and all
exactly.
that. Since literally that same thing.
I recently played Doom Eternal like for the first time, and it's one of the best games I've ever played.
And
So I don't get
Yeah.
how the grappling hook can pull Chief to a grunt. Because Chief definitely weighs more than the grunt. So
yeah.
Maybe he pulls the grunt and tosses it.
That's what I'm hoping because I mean the fact that
Like, imagine if you could grab a suicide grunt and throw it at a brute.
yeah, well,
That would be
because because the brutes are the ones that throw them at you in the game.
What if you could catch it in midair and then throw it back like a game of like?
Like potatoes
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that grappling hook as well as just the tossing and stuff. Because another thing I've noticed is that you don't need the grappling hook to toss things. You can actually pick it up anything that you have nearby. I noticed that in the demo and stuff. I'm imagining how much, not only for machinima purposes of how fun that's going to be, but also for custom games. Just the amount of things that people can come up with, like that for me is one of the most exciting parts.
Imagine playing Griffball with What's that?
Oh, this just
Or Duck Hunt.
did this just in? They removed custom games from Halo Infinite.
Actually,
God.
custom games
I'm kidding, they didn't.
Actually,
You almost killed me.
I'm afraid they will remove theater. I will bet you $5. Here, $5. Theater is gone.
I
They
don't
better
personally believe that, but going back to what I was saying, in terms of the weapons, I do like the sidekick. I love the commando and all that, and I do kind of have I love the bullpup, and I do like that some of the weapons that they actually have revealed through some of the toys and stuff like that. They have revealed like some of the ones that are coming back, which I'm really glad. Like the Hydra coming back, which is my favorite in Halo 5 and all that. Oh yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
And a bunch of other weapons that they're bringing back, as well as that they're confirming that there will be variants that they'll return on and stuff. So I'm like, okay, that sounds promising. And then some of the newer stuff, like that, what is it, the Reaver or the Reaper, the thing that the brutes have?
The triple shot energy.
That looks like an interesting gun that I definitely want to have some fun. So in terms of the gameplay, I definitely have a good feeling that it will certainly be fun, at least from a game perspective. In terms of a machinima perspective, I need to see a bit more before I can have anything. As well as
We need to see what it looks like in third person.
in third person, especially. Yeah, I want to see how that looks and stuff. So
I'm kind of curious about something now that I think of it with the grappling. Do you think we'd be able to do, like, you know, the metal, like in Halo 5 Combat Evolved, where you throw the grenade and you pick up the weapon from the rec station?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that would be able you could do that, or just in general you could use your grappling hook if you have it to pick up the weapon and take it and give it to yourself?
That could be pretty cool.
That would be really neat.
That would be sick.
That would change things, though. That's going to change like the way the game.
Oh my god! Imagine.
Or you could steal
someone's
someone's weapon like that.
Imagine in matchmaking, you just have the grapple hook and you want to get the rockets. You just go yoink.
And then someone yoinks it from you.
Oh, you could do like Red versus Blue did it, where you could go and like jump, like they didn't use a grapple hook, but instead of like catching it and throwing it, you could like grapple hook it and like whip it back at someone or something.
Oh yeah, that one.
A little advanced for what
That's a little too advanced and stuff, but.
All right, Grumpy, what about you? What'd you think about the combat?
I'm a big fan of Titanfall 2, so the combat excites me.
I mean, I don't think we're getting wall running, but...
Probably not wall running, but Titanfall 2 made me realize how much I love a grappling hook as a game mechanic. So since they're adding it, and Eternal doubled that, so since they're adding in Infinite, I have no complaints, only just excitement on what I can do with it.
See, I got really excited from the gameplay, but again, like we all said, depending on what the third-person animations look like, will ultimately decide if it works for Machinima or not. Yeah. But I think what's going to affect Machinima more is the customization, which we will talk about in a second. But before that, I want to talk about one of the biggest problems we're going to be facing. All our fans asking us if we're going to use it for Machinima.
Well, the answer is most likely yes. Again, unless they...
It depends. It depends. I'm not going to use Halo 5 for Machinima, but if they fix some of the problems in Halo Infinite, you bet your ass I'll use it. So let's talk about customization. And before I let you guys talk about it, let's go over what we know about customization, because it's going to be the biggest topic. It's going to be what we're most depending on for Machinima. So right off the bat, let's talk about everyone's favorite subject, the coding systems. Okay, so first off, who here knows what the coding system is?
Yes.
Kind of.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know for those of you who haven't been following Halo Infinite, the coding system is essentially like Destiny's shader system, where it's a preset set of materials and colors that basically define like what color, like what your Spartan's armor looks like color wise. It's a skin. It's basically like a skin. Like, have you played Injustice 2? It's like those skins. They dictate what the armor looks like.
And the problem is it comes at the cost of your two color.
Can I talk? Can I talk? Okay, so. Yes, as Chronicler said, this means that we will not have the ability to choose our armor colors anymore, which is very controversial amongst not only us but also the community. Like, let's think about how this affects like military clans that like to play Nazis with black and red.
Yeah.
I'm not in.
But okay, jokes aside, this is gonna hurt Machinima. No one is denying this because, like, let's say I want to do Arby and Achieve, and I bring Kylie in for Halo Infinite. What guarantee am I gonna have that there is a lavender and cyan color scheme for her, or a red and yellow one for Adam, or hell, white and purple for the Arbiter? There's nothing that guarantees that. And it's not something that we get to choose. It's 343 who's choosing it.
Yeah.
And to make matters worse, they're putting in this stupid thing with the, what do you call it? The promotion, the cross promotion things with Monster Energy, frickin' GameStop. I want red, I gotta buy some crap from GameStop. I want this Butterfinger logo, I gotta buy a pack of Butterfingers. I want black and green, I gotta get fucking Monster Energy drinks. This is the problem we had with Avengers. Do you remember the Avengers game? They did that Verizon wireless bullshit and how everyone was like giving them crap for that and taking a piss out of it. This is the exact same shit.
You mean the Avengers
And
game
they're also doing it.
Dropped 90% after the. Yeah.
And the best part about it, they're doing it with the emblems too. You want emblems? You gotta do cross promotions.
I could literally not give a shit about the emblems, honestly. It's just the
But and I think I don't know if this is confirmed because nobody's saying anything about this, but I can only assume it's true. The visors are going to be connected to the to the coatings.
That's not true.
It's not okay.
It's not true. It's not true.
It's not true.
Yeah, they said that the visors are going to be fully customizable and different.
Okay,
similar
good.
It's like similar.
So I want to bring up what Unishek said here because he did address it.
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, he says okay. He says you are going to look great and unique in Halo. Basically, he says you're going to look unique in Halo Infinite. And there was a meme I saw on Reddit. It was like me and the boys rolling up on Free For All with our unique Spartans, and it's just the same 3 coatings on all the Spartans, and they all have this exact same like Halo Noble 6 style armor. And that's another thing I want to point out. What exactly are the defaults that we get? How many default coatings are we going to get at launch that we don't get from promotions? Like, is it going to be gray? Do we get green? Do we get full green? Do we get full blue? Do we tell us what we get? And here's the thing. I'm gonna
you get one new helmet.
Here's the thing. I love the concept of the coatings and Chronicler. I know you saw Ascend Hyperion's video on it where he tries to sort of defend this. And then, he doesn't really try to defend. He tries to make it sound better than it actually is, and I think he failed at that.
Same thing
But I
with
think he made one good point. And that is like think about you could have glowing accents for your Spartans. Like that sounds awesome. Like a freaking Forerunner, Didact, Promethean styled coding. That would be awesome. I've always wanted to see that in Halo. But at the cost of color choosing, I don't want it.
No.
If you're going to take something that has been crucial since the original Halo, and I know people are going to say, well, not everyone chooses their colors. Most just play for the game. Yeah. There are people who like the colors. Even if you don't care for it, there are those of us who actually care about it.
I mean, just think about red versus blue. How would you know who is who without a different color character?
Well, it's easy because 343 is going to give them everything. Yeah. But even then, they're not going to. I don't think they're going to continue red versus blue because all the actors left that. So
that's a little mess.
Well,
but with Halo Infinite, it's just I'm disappointed because it's such a good this is probably worse than what they did with the armors because at least with the armors there was a lot of actually cool designs for the Halo 5 armors. There was stuff I would say I do want to use this.
Yeah,
But with this, it's like I have to settle for second best when it comes to colors, and I shouldn't have to do that.
The thing is.
Now, Chronicler, you had a lot to say about this, so I'm I'm gonna end my rant here. I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah.
Because you had a lot to say about it from your fan mail videos. So why don't you talk about your thoughts on Halo Infinite's coding system?
At very first glance, armor coating sounded really cool. Because, and there was a lot of speculation out there when we first heard about them, when they showed us that purple Spartan
Yeah, the purple
with the
fella,
Monarch coating.
Or the N7 armor. That looks so cool, the N7 one.
And
Yeah.
I called this so early because it said Monarch coating. Monarch implies royalty. The most famed colors for royalty
Is purple.
are purple and gold, which were the colors on the Spartan. And I said, guys, they're monetizing armor colors. And a whole shitload of people, Mega might have been, went, no, it's not that. It's just like the plasticiness of the armor. It's just the coating is just the like sheen of the armor. And I said, guys, they're monetizing armor coatings. And people went, no, Chronic, they wouldn't dare do that. And then the community update came out, and they said armor coatings will allow you to pick from pre-designed setups for your Spartan that affect color and texture. So yes, we have the option to put on like dirt or sheen or like battle damage or some shit like that. But they
That's actually
fed
kinda
us
cool.
this, which would be great if it was just that. Like if the coding was literally just, okay, you picked your colors, now pick if your armor to be battle damaged or dirty or right off the assembly line clean. That'd be great, and that's what it should be. The problem is they have fed us this bullshit line that I do not believe for one fucking second about their technology not letting them do that when they made the engine. And they made
I'm gonna
guys,
I'm gonna pull up the
sell it to us. They're doing it so they can sell it to us. I've seen it before. I'm gonna see it again.
Speaking of,
I'm gonna pull up
technology,
the meme here that I found. Me and the boys playing FFA with our unique Spartans, and it's just
It's such bullshit. It could be so good, but because they must monetize it for whatever fucking reason, they just cannot resist squeezing every single fucking cent out of us. We are losing a customization system that has been in the game since Halo 1, and we are losing it just so they can milk the cash cow a little, and I fucking hate it.
so on the subject of I forgot to mention the multiplayer is gonna be free to play. You know what that means? Monetization! Woo!
For it to be free to play, I don't want it to be free to play.
Oh wait, no, it's not free to play. Only the multiplayer is. The campaign is you still have to pay for.
So what the fuck are we paying for? Probably a 6-hour campaign. The multiplayer will be free, which means they're going to run a season pass and monetize. They said
Welcome
they
back to
won't
Fortnite.
Guys, they said they won't have loot boxes. So what the fuck are they going to do? Guys, I'm genuinely scared.
I'm gonna tell you what they're gonna do. It's gonna be like the Mortal Kombat 11 shop, where it's the premium shop. You want this super cool Master Chief green coating? Well, you only have 5 hours to pay us $50 for this, or you'll lose it forever.
Fallout 76, exact same thing. I fucking hate FOMO. I fucking hate overpriced skins. It's so disgusting, and yet it is making so much money, and they're not gonna stop. They couldn't get away with loot boxes anymore.
I don't even. You know what? I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'm gonna say that 343 had no say in this, and it was Microsoft who told them to do this.
Okay. See, I used to defend them for that too, but then I realized after somebody told me about it, 343 and Microsoft are the same entity. 343 they're like how my heart is part of me. It's all integrated, and they all have the same amount of say in it. It's all them. It's all them to blame. There's no defending them for this shit. Not anymore. It's not like when Bungie was owned by Microsoft. That was different. Bungie was able to split off. 343 is an internal component inside Microsoft. It is not Microsoft forcing anybody to do anything because that's not the relationship between the two. It's just them. They're fucking it up, and we're paying for it.
And I honestly feel bad for like some of the employees who are actually trying and all that, like because we do know that, like, because the thing is, I think some people take things a bit too far. Is that everyone thinks that every person in 343 is the enemy, when I'm sure there are actually people there that are actually trying to make something and deliver something really good and all that. That's something that we want to kind of really show out there, is that we know there are individuals in there that are probably giving their heart out to make sure that this game is good.
Now here's one thing I do want to point out. There's one thing I want to point out, because they did say that there will be purchases, but you will be able to get the coatings in game. Now here's my question.
Oh, sure.
Does that include the Monster Energy coating? Does that include the GameStop coating?
I think
because you know what, one of the most disgusting things is, because I was on there, here's like part of the reason I wanted to do this video was because I was on Twitter earlier this month and I saw people giving out these codes for Halo Infinite coatings in exchange for them getting followed. It's the get a free iPhone YouTube scam thing all over again. And I think it's absolutely disgusting. And whoever at 343 thought this up, you should be ashamed of yourself.
The only reason I'm gonna get coatings is because a friend has gave me his Monster codes because he likes drinking Monster.
Wait, can I ask a question real quick? Where the fuck's the code at? Because I've had a can for like months now, and I don't know where the fuck the thing is. I type in every number I see on there. And no one has
type in waypoint.
I don't remember where it is. But I think to answer your question about if we're going to be getting some of those in games and stuff, I believe the GameStop one will definitely be in the game. That's the only one that I can think might be in the game.
But then what's the point of buying a game of the GameStop promotional tie?
Probably that you could get it earlier before everyone else. It's kind of similar to.
Well, that didn't pan out, did it?
Well, I'm kind of just thinking because of something similar to what they did with. God, I can't remember which. I think yes, it was with Halo 5 where GameStop had it, which you get the Hunter armor early on and stuff, but you can unlock it later on and stuff. I kind of feel with the GameStop, I feel like that the GameStop promotion is going to be in the game. As for the Monster promotion, I think that's going to be a separate thing entirely.
Okay, so I want to read what Unishek wrote here on Twitter. And this is in response to Late Night Gaming. You guys know who that is. Yeah. And Late Night Gaming says, I do feel bad for devs. I'm assuming it wasn't an easy announcement to make. I guess we will need to see more and hope the next bit of news is something more exciting. We haven't seen the armor customization itself yet. I'm hoping it's even more expansive than Reach. And then he gets a reply. I'm sure that in all actuality, most of the devs are really excited about this new system. We just don't have a great grasp on how it works yet. Late Night Gaming says, yeah, I'm sure they didn't rub their hands together in glee at removing primary, secondary colors. Well, they're probably seeing cool stuff the coding system does that we haven't seen yet. Now here's Unishek's response. He says, yep, we're not sitting around thinking of ways to take things away from players. No developer is. I can guarantee that EA does it with every single Madden game. We're focused on building systems that can allow for better player expression. This is how you chose it? Yes, that required a tough call in this case, but we are excited by the system's overall potential. The potential is there. You're doing it wrong. It's a good idea, bad execution.
Honestly, they're executing it badly is 4 microtransactions so they can squeeze more money out of it.
Yeah. I honestly feel bad for Unishek, honestly, because I know that's just not him talking. That's just the PR that's forcing him to to squeeze and all that. Like
his YouTube is not PR. It's anti-PR.
Exactly and stuff. It's just like I feel that's again, like the employees, the ones that are actually doing their damnness to make sure that things work out and all that. They're the ones that are really the suffering. They're also the victims here, as well as us just not knowing shit about what's going on. I can imagine
because they won't communicate it.
Yeah.
Why not a hybrid? Okay, here's another one from Unishek that I absolutely love. Why not a hybrid system where I can change my colors and the rest of the coding remains the same? We love this idea, but colors and materials are designed and built into each specific coding. I'm hoping to elaborate on the tech behind codings in a future community update. You want the translation for that? We know it's for monetization, we just don't give a shit.
Fucking
Now,
bullshit.
the
They're
only
lying through
thing-
their fucking teeth at us.
Yeah, now the only thing that would maybe make this a potentially good thing, the only thing that I could take as an excuse is if they give us a shit ton to work with. If they give us enough...
And imagine how bad that user interface will be. Like, you see how bad Halo 5's user interface was with the armors, which was terrible. Imagine how many crappy... And Epsi, you played Destiny. You know how many shaders are in there. How many shaders are actually good compared to the bad ones?
What do you want me to say, Destiny 1 or 2? No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
So, I was just thinking about this, so I want to cut in real quick. I feel like if they made a system where it's like Destiny 2, where they have the collection system, and you get them and stuff, like, if they're not all paid for, like, Destiny has a thing where, like, the Eververse or just anything, any activity, you can get them. There's shitty ones, there's mild good ones, there's okay ones, and there's the big, you gotta buy them ones. Like, if they have a system where, you know, they can organize it in a right way and not make everything about fucking money, because that's how it is nowadays with video games, they can make this into a good system. Even like we just said, like, if it's just materials and maybe it's like every color scheme with that material, this could work. But they're probably not going to do that because they're thinking about money.
Well, not only that, but even after all this backlash, they can't do it now because they've already...
It's too late. They already pre-baked it.
Yeah, like, let's say you got the monster skin. Okay, well, now what you've unlocked, what you have paid for and bought, is a full-body skin. They can't change it now.
The only way they can change it and make it... The only way they can change it and make it better is if they do the hybrid system. That's the only way they can fix it.
But again, they won't. Because they've rolled out paid fucking transactions for...
But they can't. They can change it. It's just a matter if they will.
They did it in Halo 5 with...
Dan, what about you? What do you think of the codings?
They did change up stuff in Halo 5. That's right.
I mean...
Yeah.
There's only one way I can see they can do it while incorporating those promotional stuff, is that at launch they included just 30 baby basic colors. That you
That'd be okay with that.
And then the promotional stuff and the ones they include in the game, it's more elaborate and more designed and using different textures and sheen and stuff.
But even then,
this is just such a bad idea.
If you were to be able to match the same amount of color customization that you have in Halo 5 using Infinite's coding system, you would need like 1,000 fucking codings for each combo. So that's obviously way too bloated. They're not going to do that.
I mean, that's kind of how Destiny is.
Yeah, here's what's going to happen. Unishek has already said that some of them you can earn in game and some of them will be paid. Here's the amount that you can earn in game, and here's the amount that you can buy. Yay!
I'm not certain on that. I'm half and half.
Now here's the thing. Because it is a free-to-play game, I'm going to be more lenient about the microtransactions, but they picked the worst way to do the microtransactions. Here's the thing. I wouldn't even mind if it was just buying the armor. I would not care about that because I probably won't be using every single armor, and it would allow me to pick exactly what armors I want and not have to do a chance thing with the other things.
Yeah, you know exactly what you're getting. That's the
whole point. Now, I'm sorry, Dan, you want to talk about what you think of the coding system?
No, it's okay. Keep going.
Because I asked you earlier what you thought, and everyone.
I call me old-fashioned, but I'd rather just pay $60 up front and get everything that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all would.
The problem is...
That's what I thought.
The problem is that kind of thing does not retain players. And I get it, because I bought Squadrons, which was $40, and had everything packaged into the game. You could earn it all in game. I played it for like 2 weeks. Meanwhile, Fallout 76 I've been playing for 2 years because they've been releasing content gradually. I mean, I've shelled out some money for the stuff on the shop, but I can see why having more updates after the $60 purchase can be a good thing. It's just when you got shit like this that directly interferes with classic player customization for obviously greedy reasons, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
So you think Chronicler? You do think that the people? You don't think it's just Microsoft? The people at the head of Microsoft that are telling them to do this. You think it's also Bonnie at 343 that might be pulling strings here?
Again, 343 and Microsoft are the same entity. There is no separation.
I think this is more like something similar to Cyberpunk, where all the designers and programmers and artists and stuff are all focused on making the game the best as they can be. Meanwhile, the decision-making staff are the ones that are including all these predatory decisions.
Which again is probably why this game is taking so fucking long to make and has been restarted a whole bunch of times, because it's going to be just like what happened with Cyberpunk, where the devs or the people in charge are just stumbling over themselves all the time trying to manage this massive fucking project.
Yeah, and then it's the employees that are suffering for it.
Yeah, it's the employees that are getting crunched. Yeah. Game development employees are underpaid because the companies know that there's a billion people out there who want to make games. So if you don't like working for them, they'll just chuck you and find a new one, which means they can just run you into the ground for it.
You don't like how we do things? Well, we'll find someone else to suck our balls.
Exactly. Because it's everybody's dream to work on video games, right? Until I figured out it was mine. So that sucks. And then you've got all this mismanagement happening. And now I was just telling Beam about this before it started. Cyberpunk has proven, it has shown the gaming world that delays don't fucking matter. So Halo Infinite has been delayed a full year from its original release date, and we are being patient in hoping that it will actually come out a good game. Guys, we no longer have that guarantee. Cyberpunk was delayed how many times, and it rolled fucking garbage. If anything, more delays are evident of the development being an actual living fucking hell.
And they still crunched.
Now I will mention I have said plenty of times I did enjoy Cyberpunk, and I played it on the base. I played it on the base Xbox One, which everyone was telling me it's gonna be a nightmare for you. I feel sorry for you. I went into the game and had a blast. I played through the entire campaign. I know everyone did not have the same experience, but I'm just saying, from my standpoint, I loved it.
Which is great. Which is fine. That doesn't change the fact that the game rolled out like crap, missing like 40% of its features. Especially considering that they lied about it.
I'm not defending them. I'm just saying, like, the game still might be fun for some people, just not for everyone. Now, with the customization, obviously this is going to affect Machinima. And Chronicler, I remember in your fan mail when you were ranting in there, you said everything is it's like focusing on this damn game. Yeah. My entire future rests on if this game gives me what I need. Like, was that more of a joke, or do you actually believe?
No, that's actually true. Everything that I'm probably going to augment out Season 3 and the movie on Halo 5, because I don't think Halo is going to give me the tools to actually make it, which means I'm going to have to sacrifice head bobbing because I can't do it in split screen. And then when it comes to Infinite, I'm going to have to compromise on how my characters look because of the fucking armor coding system. And who else knows what other shit is showing up? Again, we might not even have theater. We could be missing features that were introduced in Halo 5.
I think they might put in theater. It would be weird if they didn't, because
it's so strange. Like I kind of feel
too many people would be getting angry over theater, and they should have learned that.
6 months ago, if I would have told you that they were locking color behind microtransactions, you would have said the exact same thing. But they did it. Yeah, they did it.
I mean, I would have believed you because they pulled that
Forge at launch.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know. Theater is the one thing and all that. Now, the only thing I will say is that even though I think theater will be present, but how is it going to function? That's gonna be the important part because
or let's talk. We haven't even considered another thing. Forge. I mean, that was kind of a secondary thing in Halo 5.
I think that Forge is definitely happening.
It's a guarantee that that's going to be good. Like they did talk about one of the functions that they're adding, which is the undo feature.
Yeah, undo.
Yeah.
Literally, and this was something Chronicler mentioned as well and stuff. If literally the Forge is at least the same or at least expanded upon Halo 5's Forge, then I'm totally fine with it. Like I'm
not worried about Forge, and hopefully I don't have any reason to be. But at this point, dude, they have done so much crazy shit. They could do anything, and I wouldn't be surprised anymore because they've shown they don't give a shit about the outrage. They will do whatever the fuck they want.
They really should give a shit about this because people got really fed up with Halo 5. And this is kind of showing, like, should we keep trust? This is the game. It's gonna tell Halo fans, should we keep putting our faith in 343, or should we just boycott?
That's what or break the company, honestly.
This is the only Halo game we're getting for the next decade, guys. Decade. Mm-hmm. By the time we get another one, I could be 35. I could be almost 40 years old. So my entire future of my channel is riding on Infinite. Oh my god, if it's not good, I'm gonna have a fucking meltdown because this channel is basically all I am. Like, you take that away.
Yeah.
I collect
this is why Arbiter 617 doesn't do Halo Machinima anymore.
I definitely feel that too, because besides streaming and stuff, that's I'm with you on that too.
Yeah, like here's kind of the perspective that I have and all that, because especially since they talked about how they're going to be adding things on and stuff, and I have heard a lot of the different rumors and supposed leaks of what they're exactly doing, which I find interesting, but it does kind of bring up this one thing, which was actually something that Chronicler, I remember you did exactly for Halo 5 before doing Brotherhood War and all that. I think in terms of Machinima's stuff, I want to wait to see first of all, see what did they give in the beginning, and then wait a bit longer to see what they kind of add a little bit after. Because we know there's going to be a lot of content they're going to be adding afterwards.
Here's the thing. I don't think that a live service thing is necessarily bad. I think live service, if done right, is really awesome. The problem is just that the developers are way too lazy or are just not given enough time to work on their thing. So they release a half-assed product like Cyberpunk did, and they're using the live service excuse to fix the game later.
Now, previously, before Cyberpunk released, I would always say, yes, delay the game, make it good. But now, if I know that delaying the game doesn't really change the quality anyway, just give me the fucking thing and let me play it while you fix it. Why do I gotta wait another year just so that I could play the game and then wait for you to fix it?
Honestly, you know that Cyberpunk wasn't even in development for 7 years. It was actually less than that, more like maybe 4 or 5 years, because the first reveal they did for Cyberpunk was just to get people excited. But Halo is different because it's got the backing of Microsoft, but not Bethesda. I don't know why I'm thinking of Bethesda. CD Projekt Red does not have the backing of a huge multi-billion-dollar company like EA, Activision.
And you can bet if they had, there would have been hell to pay for this.
Yeah.
Which, they're already getting sued, so there's going to be hell to pay anyway.
Yeah, the Polish government, I think, is cracking down on them.
When they started telling people that, you can go to Sony or Microsoft and get refunds without consulting Sony and Microsoft first, ooh, bad decision. Yeah, you don't fuck with the money without consulting the people behind the money. Ooh.
Yeah, that was.
But yeah, this coding system, like with the Redshift skin and the Monster Energy, this feels like Avengers all over again. Remember when Avengers did that Verizon thing?
Well,
Who even remembers Avengers?
I watched Zanny play 2 videos of it, and it was everything I needed.
And he got bored of it.
Yeah.
Zanny was probably the most fun I had with the Avengers.
Again, they dropped the population 90% after.
Yeah, it's so disappointing that.
Imagine having the Avengers license and then screwing it up. This is going to be the same case.
Yeah, while on the other hand, you have Insomniac that had a successful fucking spin-off film of a character from one of their best games and stuff. It's like, that's how you...
Are you talking about Spider-Man?
Yeah, they did a...
Well, that's because Spider-Man's an actual competent game, and I actually played it on a PS4, even though I own an Xbox One, because a friend of mine brought his PS4 over. It's a super fun game.
Yeah, it's such a great game.
And it's just like, why, like, that's probably the best game I've, aside from Doom Eternal, that I've played in the past 5 years.
Yeah, and even recently, another big game that actually just came out that actually has sort of a familiarity to what's going on now, and I've actually playing the fuck out of, is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. From a very long-running series from a pretty big company that certainly has had its issues, but honestly, they, despite some of the bugs that they kind of had at launch, apparently similar to Cyberpunk, but nothing as game-breaking as what it had and all that, they've been able to fix things like quickly and all that, even though I'm stuck on something right now that's kind of a big issue.
Yes.
The fact that they really just gave a lot of dedication and care to this game, like it's one of the most ambitious games that they've made in the entire series. Even though you could certainly have your thoughts on some aspects of the story, the story's great, the graphics look amazing, the world looks so good. They really thought of everything that both new fans and old fans actually love from previous games and some recent games and stuff. And it's just like, you know, that's an example that Ubisoft and kind of Bethesda with Doom and all that, like these two game companies are kind of doing the right thing, while 343 seems to be kind of doing the wrong thing and all that. It's like they're like, there are certain decisions that the companies are making that are better than what 343 is currently deciding right now. And even
sorry, go ahead.
And even more importantly, and I think this is something that I think we're going to get into and all that, is that information. So many companies have been so informative. At least some games are very informative about their games and all that, but 343 has been so fucking quiet on their information. It is so annoying and frustrating.
And every time they do
like you can't trust them at this point.
Yeah. And the fact that Unishek is like the only one we have to fucking nag, and we know that he's probably has a chain around his neck, and that he's basically just being forced to spew out his shit and stuff like that. It's just like, it's not helping, guys. It's like,
it doesn't.
It's like at this point, it's like at this point,
it feels very corporate.
It feels so corporate, and the fact that the only kind of news that I can really hold on to is potential leaks, some of which have turned out to be true, and then other ones that may potentially be true because they sound so detailed. And even though I never really believe leaks, these are kind of like the first ones that I kind of have a belief into, only because based on what I've...
And this is ironic because this is exactly what happened with Rise of Skywalker, and everything turned out to be true.
Dude, I remember reading that leaked. They leaked all the story details for Rise of Skywalker, and I read this and I was like, "There's no way
this is going to be true."
I watched the movie, and every single part started unfolding as it went. I was like,
Whoa.
It's like a frickin' checklist.
I didn't really read them and all that, so I didn't really know anything because I wanted to avoid spoilers. Some asshole did spoil one.
Okay, so we're kind of getting off topic here. Grumpy, do you have any thoughts on the coding system? Because
I think on the system itself, I think the best case scenario, that because they're going to monetize the shit out of it. So at the very least, let me know exactly what I'm buying this time and give me the option to buy it. You know, if it works out like Elite Dangerous's livery system, where you can go onto a shop and all the coatings, all the colors and shit for your ship are there, and you can just pick out the one you want and buy it instead of having to dump $300 into a loot box system. That's probably going to be their best case scenario. The problem is they're probably going to do with its Atom Shop and do FOMO, which is fear of missing out, and they will continually rotate in and out different skins and shit like that. So if you want to, if you want this one, you better buy it right now. It's gone. Otherwise you're going to miss out. We don't know, and we're bringing it back. So if you want it, you better buy it right now. And that's probably the best case scenario there is. So hopefully I can work with that. Hopefully I can make that work, and hopefully other people will be able to make that work too, because my biggest fear is getting a custom a lobby set up for it and going, oh, hey, can you be this character? And somebody goes, yeah, I've got the... I don't have the color. Can you...
Yeah.
If I had told you...
That's the part I'm worried about. But yeah,
I told you that could have been
Chronicler, I'll let you get to that in a second. Grumpy, did you have anything to say about the coding system?
Oh god. I'm a little on the fence about it. I like having options when it comes to making machinima. I don't like my options being taken away.
No, you don't. Well, technically, they're not being taken away. They're being made for you.
They're being made for me. I don't like that. I like making my own choices and failing at them.
Mm-hmm.
But at least I made them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have thought about it. There's only one reason. There's only one way I would be all for the coding system, and I highly doubt they're going to do this. And is that if they go full ham with how creative and out there they can do with the designs. Like, someone made a point where, what if they made a coating that made your entire armor glow with all these Forerunner effects and stuff? If they do,
yeah,
it
I think
that
that's
way,
what Ascend said.
that way, I would be completely fine getting rid of the old system and just accept the coding system.
But they have to have a lot of really cool coatings like
exactly.
that.
They have to have a lot of. They have to.
They
have
can't
a lot
just. They can't just put in. They can't just take the Destiny route and put in a bunch of
like
mediocre coatings.
Yeah, like that's what I was mentioning earlier, is that variation. If you can at least have, like, I know they're probably going to add a lot more as the game progresses and stuff like that. And so if they can have a lot of variation and then add on even more as the game continues and stuff.
You know what would have been cool is if they. You know what would have been cool is if they gave us an like you go on to. Chronicler, what's up with your
what happened? Oh Jesus, it was going
I'll say what if they added in this feature for the coding system where you could go onto the Halo like the Halo website, like Halo Waypoint, and you can customize your own coding. What would y'all think about that?
Dude, that would be fucking sick and all that.
If I could do that, sure. I just wonder how much they charge.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind if they like make you charge. If you could share it too, that would be awesome. You can make your own color system for your own Spartans, for your own Machinimas. That would be the best thing ever. How much guarantee are we gonna have for that?
Nothing. We have no guarantee right now.
Yeah, we have no guarantee on most of the things.
The only guarantee that we have right now is that we will not be able to pick our own colors, and some of them will be monetized.
Like it's like they say, that they're saying this is going to help towards player expression, but all it's telling me.
How would it?
Exactly. It makes no sense. How can you say this is player customization when it's being made by the developers?
That doesn't help.
Even games that came out years ago, WWE managed to do this easily. Exactly. Even Mass Effect managed to do the different patterns, colors, and such. Mm-hmm. in a much better way, and it's just like, how are you guys doing this in a worse way than games that came out years ago?
Or hell, even Minecraft with its customization, you're able to.
Even doesn't Minecraft have like an ability where you can make your own skins?
Yeah, you can make your own. Not only so kind of the way that it works is that
now in Minecraft, in Halo Infinite's defense, Minecraft is technically a block game, so it's it's easier to.
Incredibly popular,
both owned by
and
Microsoft.
Very long lasting.
Yeah, also owned by Microsoft, and the things that they allow you to change the color of your character's skin, change your hairstyle, change your arms, change your height, change your fucking legs, change your face.
A little bit.
Yeah,
but we can't have elites.
Yeah, but the Bedrock edition is more microtransaction shit because it's on console.
It is, but
Java
it's so cheap. Yeah. But it's so cheap even on the Bedrock edition. That's the thing that I love about it, is that it's like, this amount of cents or just $1 for this one thing. Like they do it so incredibly cheap that it's not even a hassle if you want to get one.
At least here's the thing, at least you can get a ton of stuff off of Minecraft without it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was cheap.
Yeah.
And that's what, and Halo Infinite is just, we've been, I think the biggest thing it's like, we're all just tired of being jerked around by these executives' poor management decisions. And we want a good Halo game. We want something that we love this universe. We love these stories that we can tell with Halo Infinite, and we want to continue those stories. But if you don't give us enough investment in your stories to build off of them, then how do you expect your franchise to survive any longer?
Yeah. Exactly.
They're so focused on filling it with anti-consumer shit. It's and everything has been pointing down this road. Look at any game that's gone free to play that has monetized shaders, stuff like that. It never goes well. It never goes.
Except unless it's Fortnite.
Well, yeah, but
But here's the real question: why are they making a video game off of a character? Like, why are we talking about all this? This is just a Fortnite character.
Are you making the meme that Master Chief is a Fortnite character?
Are you talking about Master Chief from Fortnite?
The guy from Fortnite.
Hey guys, you remember? Hey guys, you remember Thanos, that guy from Fortnite? Well, he's in that new Avengers movie.
I have no idea.
Or Predator. Predator's going.
Oh yeah, he recently just got fucking added.
Mega, you have something to say.
Yeah.
Why did?
I guess the main thing that I'm just really hoping for is that, because of course the one thing that they did announce is that this year we will get a big ass update soon. I hope this big ass update actually answers questions. We want fucking stuff to be shown and wants to think. I mean, the recent photo dump that the recent photo dump that they showed, like showing off some of the Spartans as well as a couple map things, as well as some interesting details they had hidden in there. I like the look of it. I like the armors. I love that the Master Chief helmet from Halo 4 actually is being given to us after so many people have been asking it for so long. Yeah, like I like some of the looks of it. And but there is like some of the leaks that I have been like reading about, especially the one involving the new invasion mode, which possibly will be the return of elites. I'm fucking hoping so.
I'm with you on that too.
You know,
like out of all the biggest wishes, some of them which have been granted already so far with what they have shown, I'm hoping that this one is among the ones that they can actually fucking grant and all that. Yeah. I mean, sure, the elites might suffer the same the whole coding thing as well if they're involved as well. Which at least we have them. Then that will not matter to me. But it's just like, answer fucking questions already. We don't want this PR bullshit. Like,
see, when we have silence from 343, that's when bad because they've been able to just come out and say and confirm some shit. But when people ask, like, "Hey, are elites going to be in the game?" and 343 goes,
"Yes,"
and they don't answer anything, that's when we know they don't have anything good to say about it. Yeah. And that's basically the way they've been throughout.
Okay, so because we are sort of running long on time. So we went over a lot of stuff with Halo Infinite. We clearly aren't happy with all the directions that 343 has taken us in. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in order. So basically I want you guys to tell me what you would like to see fixed before release. Let's just imagine that they can fix this. What you would like, hopefully, like the game to be like real, like try to fix something, anything, just anything, like what you want to see them fix. And if they don't fix it, will you be able to adapt it for your own machinimas, or will you even make machinimas on it?
So this is.
Let's start with you, Chronicler. Let's go in order.
343. And I mean this. Get rid of the coding system. At the very least, bring us back the 2-color features, and I will happily pay to have my armor dented or dinged or dirtied or whatever. Let me pick my colors. I will pay whatever if I can choose the fucking scratches or whatever that's on it. If you do that, I can sleep again about it. That's all. That's all I want. Anything else I can work with. I can work around. It's fine. Just give me that. Give me that one thing, please.
Is that it?
That and keep everything else around basic 5 of Halo 5 quality, because I know I can work with that. Keep the Forge at least the same. Keep the sandbox at least as expansive.
Or give us scarabs. I wouldn't mind scarabs. I just want scarabs. That's the only thing I want.
Keep both theater and Machinima Mode, and that's really all I can ask for.
All right, Dan. What about you? What do you think that needs to be fixed? And would you ever do Machinima on Halo Infinite as we know it now?
So, like I said earlier, like there's so much speculation on what there is. Like the coding system, like in general, just I don't like it. But like Grumpy said, if you could do some really cool stuff with it, I am fine with it. I would probably sigh and then pay for whatever, but I don't know. Like, yeah, and the thing is, like, there is, like, I'm a lot of what I am doing, like what I'm writing for the future and everything, really depends on Halo Infinite. Like, if the game tanks, then I'm gonna need to like restructure everything that I have written, everything that I have thought out for the future. But, and I know this sounds very vague and very ambitious, but I just want like another Halo. I want like a Halo Reach, like ambitious game. Like that's what I want. I want as much customization as you can give me. I want just so much out of this, but I'm just so like worried about everything. And like graphics, yeah, I want the graphics to look a little better, but that's not a big deal to me. Like for me, what I want most and foremost is split screen, not a gazillion microtransactions, and I just want it. I want it to be fun. Like if that sounds dumb, but I want it to be a fun game. Like
I agree.
Like there are so many games where like are technical achievements, but you play it for like 2 days and you're like, I beat it. Now what do I do? Like, I just want this to be like on the level of what Halo Reach was, where everyone was excited about it, everyone was doing cool things with it, everyone was learning from other players what to do with it. And I want that level of like, I guess, wonder to it. You know what I mean? Like that idea of exploration and finding new things in the game every week that isn't just so easy to get to. I don't know. I'm just kind of ranting right now, but I want it to be an awesome.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Let 'em have it.
Is that it, or you got any more to say?
No, that's basically it. Like
It's basically it. All right, what about you, Epsi, the off-brand Pepsi?
So, before I begin my TED talk here, I wanna at least acknowledge the people that are behind the scenes that don't get mentioned and that they have to take the butt end of this shit. That this has probably ruined their lives at a certain point. I respect you. I respect all the work that you do and all the hard work and sacrifices you do. But these fucking heads, wake the fuck up. Because the shit is getting annoying now. It's been since 2012 we've been having fucking problems with 343. I said it back in Halo 5 and I said it again. If this game fucking tanks, I'm done. I will never pay a single fucking penny for Halo. Wake the fuck up. Stop removing shit and start giving us shit that we want. Listen to us. We give you guys good ideas. Fucking listen to us. It's not hard. We say shit on Twitter, we say shit on social medias. Oh, that's a good idea, we should add it. You don't do it, you just brush it aside because you guys just want money. You just want to get fucked by money. Wake the fuck up. It's not hard. I'm so fucking sick and tired of this bullshit. I'm a new creator, and I want to make money eventually from this shit and everything, and you're fucking me. I don't work or anything. I have to worry about, like, streaming or something. I can't even get a job because of fucking COVID and shit, so, you know, I want to go back on something that I like. I love Halo. I have 5 million series that I want to make, and I want to do it on Infinite. I want to do so much on Infinite, but you guys are keep getting negative and negative and negative that it's like I don't want to buy the game or even download the free-to-play multiplayer. So do us all a favor and just wake up. Wake up, John. Wake up. Because it's a fucking annoying now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give him a hand for.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful,
I'm
FC.
not good with speaking, but
No, that was great. That I couldn't have said it better myself. What about you, Hugh?
All right, so literally, I agree with everything that was just said by everyone and all that. But so I guess I want to establish the things that because I know, of course, again there comes the optimism bit and stuff. There are things that I'm optimistic of that I know are probably going to be great, but then the rest I'm very unsure of and stuff. So obviously the Forge. I know that in terms of what we could do as a what we could create and all that, I know for sure that aspect of the game, however it launches, whether it is at the very beginning or gets added later, I'm fine with if it doesn't get added right in the beginning and stuff. I would be fine with that if it just gets added later, like Halo 5, because I know it's guaranteed to be good. Because the people who make Forge are fucking amazing. Every single game, they've never had a bad Forge. They've always constantly improved it every single time. I know that it's gonna. So if they can keep to that, and as well as gradually improve it as the game goes, I'll be fine with that. And then on a secondary level, like, of course, again, I mentioned my obsession with leaks. I want those fuckers back, and I'm hoping that the very detailed leak that talked about them and all that and how they're going to be implemented, I hope that's true. But this goes into the main thing that I want 343 to fucking listen. Give us shit to actually listen up. Stop letting us fucking speculate and go fucking nuts. You can see all of us are going insane here, trying to figure shit out, and it's not fucking.
Have I ever told you the definition of insanity?
Yeah, we're like, I mean,
We live in a society.
I mean, we're living at a time where.
How about a magic trick? I'll make this pen
We're living in
disappear.
a time where basically mental health is very problematic at this moment and stuff. And really, you see how obsessed fans are with your fucking games and stuff like that. You like, can you give us a fucking break already? Be more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you guys are gonna have that huge ass update, you better make it fucking worth our time and actually show us shit.
Update comes
And then
out. We have removed vehicles from the game, and you can buy vehicles.
And then on a game level note, this is kind of outside of the Machinima thing and stuff, but I figured I just have to mention this anyways. On a personal level, in terms of the game, can we please have a good story? You know that, like,
I don't know if that's
please
possible
don't pull
anymore.
blue team.
I like
generally don't know.
the only guarantee that I have of the terms of having a good narrative that probably is going to have multiple parts to it, since this game is going to have like multiple expansions and stuff like that. The only guarantee I know is, of course, the guy, what's his name again, that came in recently? Joe Staten and stuff. I do have confidence in him, but I don't want to have just confidence in him. I want confidence in everyone.
What happened to the
You don't
team
want to
in
look out
Halo
for
4?
like a veteran.
Yeah,
You want the new people.
if you can really just show me something that could maybe give a hint of a good story. I love the idea of the Banished. I love the fact that they're kind of being involved, and especially I love the setup that was done in Shadows of Reach. Shadows of Reach was a great story. If you guys can bring that sort of, if you can bring that sort of power, that sort of story power into this game and all that, I'll be satisfied. and that's pretty much my major thing. Is everything else, everyone's pretty much set already.
I love you, man. I love you. I do. But I want you to come over and join me on the Doomer side of the... Everything sucks. Just let it in.
Yeah.
No, it sucks. Come join me. It's so freeing. You can shit on all of it. We can shit on the galaxy as father and son.
All right, what about you? What about you, Grumpy?
For me, they're already improved on the. I don't. This is all just speculation and just stuff they've shown little bits of. The thing about me is I'm always wishing that game companies and movies are all like be very selective of what they show. Let me think about and be excited and surprised about when I play the game. But as far as for Infinite's concerned, I think this whole hush-hush silence approach is being more detrimental when you don't know basic information about the game. It's well, the story can be vague. I'd rather be surprised by that. But as far as the multiplayer, the mechanics, the utility aspect of the game, that needs to be explained before I buy into your product. Graphical fidelity needs to be improved. It looks like I'm okay with it. I'd rather it be a bad looking game than a game that looks boring, which it does. But they've already shown it looks a little bit better. The gameplay, I'm very excited for. The coding system, it sucks, but I can live with it. I can work with that. I hope they have theater. My main concern right now is this is when I've seen the trailer is the game performance. There was a lot of pop in. There was some dip in the frame rate, and I'm afraid that my initial concern is that they might compromise a lot of stuff like the same with Halo 5. But instead, it's more for graphics and less for performance, and especially after Cyberpunk, how buggy is it going to be on launch?
Oh, it's guaranteed to be buggy. It's just how buggy is it?
Exactly.
Especially being online again as well.
I can work with funny-looking ragdolls and facial stuff. I can deal with funny glitches, but game crashes, I can't work with that.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's time for my rant. 343, I guess you can figure out that a lot of us are really sick of just the silence. I know that making a game, we don't make games. We make movies off of your games. And I know y'all can't, I know that maybe not every game mechanic is completely, ready. But when it comes to stuff like customization, which you have already claimed is pretty much figured out, I want to know. It's not like the story mode that you're giving us spoilers. You're showing us what you already have. You shouldn't be quiet about that. And I know you probably don't really care about machinima creators because no one makes machinimas off of Halo anymore. And that's how you know you screwed up. Because you know how I got into Halo Machinima? I didn't even get into Halo until I had seen Arby and the Chief. Before that, I thought it was just another crappy first-person shooter game like Call of Duty.
Red versus Blue got me.
Now think about how that looks. You may not. I know you may not give a shit, but people like content creators like us are keeping your game on life support. If you're not gonna give us enough respect, your game, your franchise is gonna fucking die. I'm not even kidding. You need to step it up because you're gonna like all those people who have worked, all those people at 343 who work so hard on these games. They look up to you, Bonnie Ross, Bill Gates, anyone, whoever is deciding crap up there. You need to figure your shit out because I am not. Because I'm tired. I am fucking tired of just being so distraught over this stuff. Like Epsi said, I should not be having to worry this much. I should be saying, "Oh my god, I'm so excited by this," but I just can't find an enemy to do that, and I am tired. No one at 343 is probably going to see this video. I'm be honest, and they probably should be watching this video. But
We should add all of them once this video comes out,
but it's
just so they
I'm tired, and if you lose the people who are keeping your game on life support, the way you keep making games at all. To make money, you're not going to make money if you piss off and alienate your entire fan base. And we're the only ones that are keeping it on life support because nobody remembers Halo 5 anymore. Let's just be honest. Nobody gives a shit about Halo 5 anymore. How many people are playing Halo 5 anymore? Nobody.
More than the Master Chief Collection. Could be
more than the Master Chief Collection?
On Xbox, at least.
It doesn't matter because more people are playing Fortnite. And
Sure.
that's because Fortnite has more content in it.
Well,
and because Fortnite... Well, and because Fortnite has a lot of videos. Because they actually respect their content creators. I'm going to be honest about it. I don't care. I know I may not like Fortnite, but at least I know that Epic actually treats their content creators with respect. And that's something that's sorely lacking with you. Now, I'm glad that you guys did Halo Outpost and let us do our Machinima panel there, but all that goodwill is only going to go so far. Yeah. So you need to step it up.
Now,
that's my rant.
Before we end tonight, I just want to say I want to leave off one last thought. Obviously, I voiced all my complaints. Angry as I stated it would be. Beam just had a very good rant. Epsi probably should have won an Oscar for his. Mega has very balanced feedback, which I think is good to have, even though I shit on him for being so optimistic. And Dan and Grump have had a lot of good points as well. But the one thing that I want to mention is that none of this will ever make any difference. Thank you. Good night.
Hey, it might. I know one of my contacts, Duststorm. Apparently, he might know some people at Halo Outpost, but I don't know. But 343, I know we cursed a lot and we called a lot of your ideas crap, but just know that this is just we're passionate. We're big fans of this series, and we want you. We don't do this because we hate you. We want this. We're like this because we want you to be better.
Yeah.
Don't be like EA. Don't be like Activision. Just make a good game and talk with your crew. Like, do a focus group with us. Like, we will gladly give our opinions on whether or not something may work or not. But
well, it's like the comment. I left this comment on Crowcat's video about Cyberpunk. Like, this game doesn't have to be. You don't have to make the biggest, most ambitious game ever. Just make us a good one.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, so all right, so we're sort of running out of time here because I want to cut this off at 10, and we only have 2 minutes until 10. So I want to thank you guys for joining me on this video. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you for letting me vent. I hope y'all got to vent a lot. I hope that helped.
I do. Real quick, I do want to mention how thankful I am for you guys having me on here. For being, I'm not as big as you guys, so I do appreciate it.
Well, we're still people just like you, and I'm not big either. I only have 650 subs.
Yeah,
not too big.
I mean, I've got my count says 13 something, but I'm pretty sure about 600 of them show up, so it's all good. But yeah, we're just dudes like you, dude, and actually having the perspective of a newer was also very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. I hope we can maybe do another one of these videos again, maybe on a better topic.
I'm definitely making my own on this.
Oh yeah.
Movies or something.
But yeah, we could talk about movies or something positive. We could talk about the Mandalorian or something.
Star Wars, let's shit on everything again.
Megalodon.
Okay, but for now, I'm gonna end this video. So I want to thank you guys for coming. If you're new here, be sure to join Discord. Be sure to follow all these other awesome guys on YouTube for showing up and helping me make this video. And hopefully 343 sees this video. Out of the 1% chance they do, and decides they may have a point. But thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you guys next time.
Hey, do you guys want to play Halo? Do you guys want to play Halo now?
No.
Right, say bye, everyone.
Actually, kind of don't want to touch Halo for a while now that we.